Chapter 1472. Book title. Chapter Let's Talk Quietly. Author Sima Qing pulled Jiang Ping into the void. The people on the ground could only hear the occasional rumbling above their heads. The situation of the battle above them was unclear, but the people on the ground were not idle either. They started fighting again. Jiang Yunlong brought a lot of people, but compared to the Sima family there weren't many people. Including Jiang Shui, there weren't many people. At first, the people of the Jiang family believed that their ancestor would defeat the ancestor of the Sima family. However, the old ancestor of the Sima family actually advanced. This had far exceeded their expectations. Even their old ancestor had not advanced, so how had he advanced? No matter what the reason was, the result was the same. Despair gradually rose in the hearts of the Jiang family. Without the ability to fight, the battle quickly ended. The people of the Jiang family and Jiang Shui's branch were either killed or captured. Jiang Yunlong was seriously injured and was protected in the center by several guards. Although he was not caught and still tried to resist, he was surrounded by the Sima family and could not move. Sima Zhiyuan, don't think that you've won just like this. As long as the old ancestor returns, all of you will be dead. You're still daydreaming at this time. Sima Zhiyuan was also a little injured, but he was much better off than Jiang Yunlong. Sima Yue then walked out from the protection of the beasts. Sima Lu Xian, Mu Si and the others were still in the center of the beasts, so they were not afraid of the Jiang family's counterattack. Great-grandfather, eat some pills first. She walked over and took out some pills for Sima Zhiyuan. Sima Zhiyuan ate the pill and the turbulent aura in his body calmed down quite a bit. Sima Yue turned to look at Jiang Shui and said, although it was Sima Tu and Miao Shihua who attacked us, I think you must have given them some hints, right? Jiang Shui turned her head to the side and did not look at her. How dare a junior hamster look at him with such a gaze? Sima Yue did not care about her attitude and said, it's a pity that you can touch some people but not others. After saying that, he turned around and left without waiting for her reaction. The process of waiting was long. Not much time had passed, but in Jiang Yunlong's eyes, it felt like centuries had passed. On the other hand, Sima Zhiyuan and the others were very relaxed. What was there to worry about when the outcome was already set in stone? In less than half a day, Sima Qing came back alone. The final result was self-evident. Sima Qing glanced at Jiang Ping and the rest and said, deal with them properly. Then he grabbed Sima Yue's shoulder and disappeared in front of everyone. Master. Yeah. Mu Si and the beasties shouted when they saw Sima Yue disappear. Don't worry, old ancestor won't do anything to her. Sima Zhiyuan comforted her. Once they're done talking, they'll naturally return. Really? Mu Si was still very worried. Of course, when have I ever lied? Sima Zhiyuan slapped Mu Si's head. He was a little angry that Mu Si didn't believe him. Clean up the mess. He roared at his family and then went in with his hands behind his back. There was no need for him to do these things. Sima Lu Xian also went in. After what happened today, no one dared to have any ideas about him. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Sima Yue was the catalyst in today's matter. If she didn't bring the Miao family over, Jiang Shui and the others wouldn't have come out. If she didn't kill Sima Tu, Jiang Shui wouldn't be angry and the Jiang family wouldn't be drawn out. The Jiang family had been coveting the Sima family all these years. The Sima family also wanted to get rid of the hidden danger that was the Jiang family. However, no matter who made a move on who, they needed an excuse. And she created such an excuse for the Sima family. With such a powerful daughter, even if Sima Lu Xian didn't have any spirit power now, they wouldn't dare to provoke him. Sima Yue was brought to the back mountain of the Sima family by Sima Qing. Other than Qi Yan, she didn't have any other beasties by her side, but she wasn't worried about her own safety. Why did you bring me here? She asked. So rude, you didn't even call me old ancestor. Although Sima Qing said so, he didn't care very much. I'm not a member of the Sima family now. Sima Yue snorted. She wasn't a member of the Sima family, so he wasn't her old ancestor. Little guy, you care a lot about what happened back then. Sima Qing said. Of course I care. If it wasn't for those things, our family of 3 wouldn't have been separated for so many years, and I wouldn't have grown up alone. Sima Yue said. Although she was already 15 years old when she came into this body, the hardships along the way were not something that ordinary people could understand. There are some things that we can't go against reality. Sima Qing said, I told your father that back then, but he didn't listen to me. Sima Yue didn't want to talk about what happened back then with him. Those things had already happened and it couldn't be changed. It was useless to talk about it. Why did you bring me here? Of course I brought you here to acknowledge your ancestors. Sima Qing said seriously. Sima Yue looked at him with narrowed eyes. Do you know my condition? Isn't your condition him? Sima Qing looked at the people walking down the mountain. Sima Yue looked down and saw Sima Zhiyuan bringing Sima Luxian over. This meant that they wanted to add her and her father to the family tree. And my mother, she said. Okay. Sima Qing agreed without hesitation. Why didn't you bring my father along? She asked. Naturally, we have a little secret to talk about. Sima Qing looked at her mysteriously. She subconsciously took a step back and stared at him warily. What do you want to say? Actually, it's nothing. I just wanted to ask you, are you willing to take over the Sima family? I believe that as long as you are willing, the Sima family can flourish in your hands. Sima Qing looked at her expectantly. I'm not willing. Sima Yue rejected. What? Although the Sima family is not very strong, they still have a place in the inner regions. I don't want that either. Sima Yue shook her head firmly. You old foxes don't expect me to take over your mess. I don't like to care about those chores. Sima Qing pursed his lips. Mess? Chores? That was how she described her own family. But she was the only one among the younger generation that he liked. Sima Yue was afraid that he would really put the burden on her and said, I know that you all want the family to be stronger. If there is something that I can be of use to you, I will try my best. But don't expect me to take over. Otherwise, when the time comes and I leave, you won't be able to find me. You're not interested at all? I still have my own things to do, I can't spend my time on the family. Sima Yue said, after father's injury is healed, I will look for mother. This is something that has been planned for a long time. Think about it, do you really think it's good to hand the Sima family over to me? Chapter 1473. Was it really good to hand over the Sima family to her? They had never thought about this question. When they knew about her talent and ability, they only thought that there was hope for the revival of the Sima family. But they never thought about it. Was it really good to hand over the Sima family to her? With her luck, she would definitely experience a lot of things in the future. She also had a lot of things to do. Handing over the Sima family to her would definitely restrict her footsteps. Actually, to help the Sima family revive, you don't have to take it over. Sima Yue continued, the current head of the family is great-grandfather, but isn't great-uncle Hishun the one who is really managing the family? Sima Qing looked at her and was sure that she really didn't want to. He sighed and said, why is your personality the same as your father? I'm my father's child. Sima Yue knew that he was giving in by saying this, so she smiled. Don't laugh. This matter hasn't been decided yet. Sima Qing said, they're here, let's go. Sima Luxian and Sima Zhiyuan came up and bowed solemnly to Sima Qing. Old ancestor. How embarrassing you've made yourself like this. Sima Qing looked at him with his hands behind his back. Just stay in the family in the future, don't think about these things. Sima Luxian bowed slightly, neither saying nor denying. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This guy, he obviously wanted her father to be safer at home, but his words were so smelly. Let's go. Sima Qing brought them into the spirit barrier. There was nothing at the top of the mountain, but there was a majestic ancestral hall. The door of the ancestral hall was the same as the door of the Sima residence, but this was a smaller version. Sima Qing came to the ancestral hall and stood in front of the stone lion. He reached out and pressed on its left eye, and the door of the ancestral hall opened automatically. Let's go in. Sima Qing and Sima Zhiyuan walked in first, Sima Yue and Sima Luxian followed behind. The moment they entered the door, Sima Yue felt a force stopping her, and then something seemed to be scanning her. Only those who have the bloodline of the Sima family can enter here. Sima Luxian explained. Then why haven't people like Mother come in before? Sima Yue asked curiously. They came in through another tunnel. In that passage, as long as you have the aura of a man from the Sima family, you can do it. Speaking of this, Sima Luxian's face turned slightly red. Alright, now she knew what that aura meant. They passed through the courtyard and came to the center of the ancestral hall. Before they could push the door open, it opened from the inside. Patriarch, old ancestor, young master Luxian, young Mississippi, a stooped old man came out from inside, bowed to them, then turned and left. This is the guardian of the ancestral hall. His strength is not lower than the patriarch's. Sima Luxian didn't introduce that person to Sima Yue, but she could hear his respect for that old man from his few sentences. Sima Yue guessed that this old man must have a high status in the family. Otherwise he would not have left after giving a bow. They entered the ancestral hall. The huge ancestral hall was filled with memorial tablets. At a glance, there were probably a few thousand of them. These memorial tablets are the memorial tablets of the direct descendants. The collateral descendants are not qualified to enter here. Sima Luxian said. Then where are they? There are several auxiliary ancestral halls next to it. The important people in the family are in that ancestral hall. While Sima Yue was explaining, Sima Qing lit a few incense sticks and distributed them to everyone. Then he led them to offer incense to the ancestors of the past. Sima Yue was the youngest in the family, so naturally she was the last to offer incense. When she placed the incense on the incense table, she suddenly felt like a lifetime had passed. The moment she placed the incense on the incense table, countless scenes flashed in front of her eyes. It was as if she saw the prosperity and decline of a family. At this moment she felt like she was a member of this family. The blood in her body seemed to be surging. After a long time, Sima Qing brought them to the side of the anteroom. Although it was called an anteroom, it wasn't small. It was just much smaller than the ancestral hall. Sima Qing took down a brocade box from the wall and opened it. There were many rolls of brocade in it. He took out the largest brocade and injected spiritual energy into it and threw it into the air. The brocade flashed with golden light and slowly opened. It was about the size of a wall. It was densely filled with names. Sima Qing pointed at one of the places. The words in that area were enlarged. Sima Yue saw many familiar names. For example, Sima Zhiyuan, Sima Hishun, Sima Luxian, Sima Lufeng, Sima Luyun and Sima Yifei. There was a blank space beside Sima Lufeng. Sima Yue guessed that it was her father's position. As expected, Sima Qing got Sima Luxian to bleed. He took out a brush from the box and dipped it in his blood. He wrote his name in the blank space. Then he pulled out a line and wrote, Wife Yu Kuluo. He pulled a line between him and Yu Kuluo and wrote, Daughter Sima Yue. After that, he even got Sima Yue to squeeze out a drop of blood and dripped it on her name. Sima Yue watched as her blood seeped into the brocade. She thought that she had really returned to her family. She too was someone with a family. This was different from the family that Sima Lai and the rest gave her. At that time, there were few people and simple relationships. Everyone only doted on her. But the family had a long history. There were many branches and they were more united. Sima Luxian watched as his name appeared on the genealogy again. His emotions were fluctuating. Things were the same but people were different. Just when Sima Yue thought that it was over, a gentle force came from the genealogy and enveloped Sima Yue. This is. The three of them were shocked. Family inheritance. Sima Qing murmured, How many years has it been? The genealogy has released the power of inheritance. Family inheritance? Sima Zhiyuan and Sima Luxian knew about the existence of inheritance, but it was their first time seeing it. Shock could be used to describe their feelings. Sima Qing sighed. If Sima Yue was added to the genealogy, this scene would have happened decades ago. If they knew about this earlier, they wouldn't have let her leave the family. Even if there was pressure, they would have kept her and nurtured her well. The gentle light spread out quickly, passing through the walls and spreading out from the ancestral hall. This is. The people in the family were enveloped by that power. That gentle power made them feel comfortable all over. It was as if something was sprouting in their minds. Feel it. Sima, he exclaimed softly and said to the people around him, Feel it on the spot. When those people heard it, they all sat down cross-legged and tried to grasp the sprouting in their minds. More and more people closed their eyes to feel it. At this moment, the entire Sima family seemed to have quietened down. Something was quietly changing. Chapter 1474. Not only the Sima family members, even the outsiders felt the change in the Sima family. The people on the street all stopped and stared. They felt a force that calmed their irritable hearts. In the ancestral hall, Sima Yue had her eyes closed the whole time. Her face was calm and all the anger from the battle had dissipated. After an unknown amount of time, the power finally entered her body. The moment she opened her eyes, the power that enveloped the Sima family also entered their bodies. Everyone opened their eyes. Their gazes were even brighter and they were even more spirited. Some of them had entered a state of enlightenment at that time and had yet to awaken. Some were already strong enough, but because they didn't have enough comprehension they couldn't advance. This time, with the power of the inheritance, they had gained insights and naturally advanced. All of a sudden, many courtyards of the Sima family emitted the light of advancement. In the ancestral hall, Sima Yue was also leveling up. This time her strength did not increase by much. She had only leveled up from Monarch level 1 to Monarch level 2, which was still within the range of Gentleman level. When she advanced, the tribulation clouds in the sky began to condense. When she finished her advancement, she didn't have time to say anything to the 3 people in the room. She flew out and only stopped when she was far away from the ancestral hall. For some reason the cloud spirit did not go easy on Sima Yue this time. Fortunately, her body had been tempered to be very strong so she could withstand this level of lightning tribulation. Everyone in the Sima family saw her transcending the tribulation here. Many of them were surprised when they sensed the familiar aura. Her aura was in the power that she made us feel earlier, right? Why would she let us comprehend it? No matter what, we have to thank her. Is she really the family's lucky star? As soon as he came back, he solved the Jiang family's problem and made us all realize something. Who knows, she might really be able to revive the family. Is there really hope? The people below were discussing animatedly, but Sima Yu couldn't hear them from the mountain. This time the cloud spirit was exceptionally ruthless. She didn't have the energy to observe her surroundings. Moreover, she hadn't made any preparations this time. The lightning-proof items that she had taken out at the last minute were just a drop in the bucket. She had to completely rely on her own body to withstand it. When the last bolt of lightning struck, the cloud spirit did not leave. Sima Yue lay on the ground. She did not even have the strength to move her fingers. Her body was charred black and she looked no different from being roasted. The beasts had rushed over a long time ago, but she made them wait outside. Now that the lightning tribulation was over, they all ran over. Are you okay? Little Seven ran over and saw that Sima Yue was seriously injured. She screamed, Yu, how did you become barbecued meat? Did you put salt in yourself? There is indeed the smell of barbecued meat. Even Thousand Resonance and the others couldn't help but tease. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. The moment these guys realized that their lives were no longer in danger, their naughty nature was revealed. That's strange. Cloud Spirit, why did you strike so hard this time? Little Dream was puzzled. She looked at the Cloud Spirit that had not left and asked curiously. The Cloud Spirit snorted. These guys finally noticed it. It's not that I struck too hard. It's because her advancement this time involved many things. It's related to some things in the future. I can't cover this up. However, I still went easy on her. Otherwise, with her body she might not be able to withstand it. The Cloud Spirit explained proudly. Sima Yue was shocked. She had just advanced a level and it was a very small one. How was it related to the future? Could it be because of it? Thinking about the thing that she had just obtained, she was speechless. This lightning strike was really an unexpected disaster. After the Cloud Spirit explained, it patted its butt and left. If it wasn't for their good relationship, it wouldn't have especially stayed to explain this. Sima Zhiyuan and Sima Qing ran over. Seeing her charred black, their expressions were a little strange. Why was she always struck by lightning? Could it be that she had done too many bad things? Let's bring her back first, Sima Qing said. Zhiyuan, you do it. Sima Yue didn't understand why he stepped aside and let Sima Zhiyuan carry her when he was clearly beside her. Little Seven and the others wouldn't let anyone carry her, so they volunteered to carry her. The moment she turned around, she heard Sima Qing's muttering behind her. She really turned into a little charcoal. If I carry her, she'll turn into charcoal too, right? Diske, she'll dirty my clothes. If Sima Yue had the energy, she would definitely jump up and scold him. You're an old guy who's thousands of years old, do you have to be like this? Little Seven carried Sima Yue and under Sima Zhiyuan's guidance, they arrived at the courtyard that had been prepared for them. The Sima family saw Little Seven carrying a piece of charcoal and guessed that it was her. She was struck so hard. Someone said. Such a good girl turned into charcoal. How pitiful. Exactly. I don't know if she can recover. I heard that she would be struck by lightning every time she advances in rank. Would she turn into charcoal every time? So pitiful. Sima Yue was speechless again. Why were the Sima family members the same as Sima Qing? Couldn't they just have fun? Huang Yingying and the others felt their hearts ache when they saw Sima Yue like this. They heard that she was struck very badly the last time in Fair Eastern City, but they didn't see it with their own eyes. So although their hearts ached, it wasn't as intense as this time. Yue, are you okay? Huang Yingying asked. Sima Yue blinked at her, indicating that she was fine, but it made Huang Yingying's heart ache for a while. If she was really fine, why couldn't she even speak? Yin Lang, who had been following her today, rubbed his chin when he saw her like this. He said thoughtfully, You're so ugly now. Should I continue to follow you? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Her meaning was clear. I never wanted you to follow me. If you don't like it, then get lost. Yin Lang smiled when he saw her gaze. This was the first time he felt that a girl could be so cute when she rolled her eyes. Sima Yue was unhappy because she was surrounded by people the entire way. She threw a tantrum when she was unhappy. Other than Huang Yingying, Sima Lu Xian and the others, no one else was allowed to enter her place. However, the Sima clan had indeed been rather busy recently. Although Jiang Yunlong and Jiang Ping had been killed, there were still many things that needed to be done in the Jiang clan. Furthermore, Sima Tu's branch still needed to be dealt with. So, after 10 days, everyone thought that she was still recuperating, but she had already recovered for a long time. Chapter 1475. When the Sima family was preparing for the final battle with the Jiang family, Sima Yue was soaking in the huge library alone. Pin Book Network. Just as Huang Yingying and the others had said before, this library was very big, and there were a lot of books inside. There were even a lot of unique books. It could be seen that a long time ago the Sima family was indeed a very powerful family. Unfortunately, it was gone now. The door to the library opened. The person scanned the place and knew where she was. Sima Yue looked at the person who came, put down the book in her hand and asked, "Yun, why are you here?" "I went to your courtyard. Uncle Lu Xian said that you knew you were here, so I came over." Sima Yun said, "Why did you come to the library the moment you returned to the clan?" "I'm here to see if there's any way to restore father's powers." Sima Yue said, "The longer this drags on, the more disappointed father will be." "That's true." Sima Yun came to her side and sat down. She picked up the thick book beside her and said, "I'll go with you. How do we find them?" "All right." Sima Yue thought that one more person meant one more helping hand, so she told her the key words. She might not be able to understand those medical books, but if she could read, she would be able to see the key words. Sima Yue stayed in the book collection pavilion for a few months. Sima Yun and Sima Chi worked together to flip through all the books in the book collection pavilion. Sima Yue finished reading the last medical book and slammed it shut. "As expected, there isn't." She sighed. It seemed that Wu Lingyu's suggestion was the only way now. "Yu, don't be discouraged. There will definitely be a way." Sima Yun comforted her when she saw how dejected she was. "That's right. Yue, if there aren't any books here, there must be some elsewhere. As long as we persevere, we can definitely do it." Sima Chi also agreed. "Yes." Sima Yue smiled at them and said, "You two have been staying here with me all day. How is the situation outside?" "It's nothing much. It's just that our family has completely settled the matter with the Jiang family. In the future, the Jiang family won't appear in front of us anymore." Sima Chi was in a good mood when she said this. It is indeed good news. However, without the Jiang family, there will be other families like the Li family and the Wang family. Sima Yue said, "If you want the clan to be safe, you still need to be strong." Sima Yun said, "Speaking of this, everyone is saying that you are our clan's lucky star." "I'm not a lucky charm. How did I become the family's lucky star?" "You're the family's lucky star." Sima Chi said, "The moment you came, you cured us of the 100 days of sleep poison. The Jiang family's matter has been a headache for the family for a long time. In the end, you just came back and gave us an opportunity. Then you found the profound moon fruit and let the old ancestor advance, allowing us to survive the Jiang family's matter. And as soon as you entered the genealogy, you received the family's inheritance. You also helped many people in the family who were trapped in the bottle to advance successfully. Tell me, if you're not our lucky star, then what are you?" Sima Yue looked at her worshipful face and smiled. "Things are not as mysterious as you say. It's just a coincidence. No matter what, you did bring a lot of benefits to the family when you came back." Sima Yun said. "By the way, Yue, what is the family's inheritance you received? Can you tell us?" Sima Chi asked curiously. Chi, don't mess around." Sima Yun scolded softly. "What's wrong with that? If I can't say, Yue won't tell us. She won't be angry. Right, Yue?" Sima Chi said with a grin. "But, Yun, aren't you curious?" Sima Chi interrupted her. Sima Yun pursed her lips. She was curious too. But Patriarch and the others had never asked Yue about this. How could they ask her? "Actually, there's nothing that can't be said." Sima Yue said, "At that time I received a power and a set of spirit skills." Speaking of that power, Sima Yun and the others were more touched. Because both of them had comprehended a lot of things from that incident. "Our inheritance is actually a set of spirit skills?" Sima Chi was surprised. Our ancestors did use a set of spirit skills to conquer the world. But later on, it slowly became what it is now. Sima Yun sighed. What is that set of spirit skills? Actually, that spirit skill is fusion. Sima Yue said, it's just that our family used to have many beast tamers, so there were many spirit beasts. Relying on spirit beasts and fusion, our battle power was much higher than others. Because of that, we used to be all-powerful. Could it be that our decline is due to the lack of beast tamers? Sima Chi guessed. Not only that. Sima Yue said, the fusion at that time is different from now. What's different? The fusion at that time not only allowed the person and the contracted beast to become one, but the effect was better. It was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. But the fusion now is missing the essence of the past. Sima Yue explained, before I came here, I had already made a copy of the spirit skills and passed it to my great-grandfather. If you haven't heard, they should still be researching it. I think that if the family wants to rise again, we need to find more beast tamers. Sima Chi placed both hands on the table. Otherwise, even if we have this spirit skill, we won't have so many spirit beasts. We don't need to worry about this. Patriarch and the others will naturally think of this. Sima Yun said. Sima Yue lowered her head and didn't say anything. She gave the spirit skill to Sima Zhiyuan, but didn't tell them about the imperial beast art. She believed that as long as they had these two things, the Sima family would rise again. But the imperial beast art was given to her by Mo Sha. Without his permission, she couldn't tell anyone about it. Thinking of Mo Sha, she remembered that Wu Lingyu had been gone for a long time. According to the past, he should have contacted her long ago. Why hadn't he contacted her after so long? Could it be that he had fallen into a coma again? That couldn't be right. He had just woken up not long ago. He wouldn't have fallen into a coma now. If it wasn't because of him, then there should be something holding him back. Could it be that the Sage Pavilion found out that he was going for the Phoenix Nirvana Divine Medicine and captured him? But she immediately denied her own thoughts. He wasn't just Wu Lingyu, he was also Mo Sha, the king of the Devil Realm. With such a powerful person by his side, how could an ordinary person be able to trap him? And there wasn't any news from the continent. Thinking of this, she suddenly laughed. She must have been too concerned. He hadn't looked for her for a few months and she was already overthinking things. This book came from a book. Chapter 1476. Since there was no cure for her father in the library, Sima Yue did not waste any more time. Instead, she went to look for a few books about her family's history. Please search product #book Yennet to see the most complete. Update the fastest. When Sima Chi and Sima Yun helped her find it, they were a little puzzled as to why she would be interested in the family history. She smiled and said, "Didn't I just return to the clan? I need to understand the history of the clan well." This reason made sense. The two of them found several thick books for her. They couldn't help her with this. She could only look at it herself, so they left. Sima Yue stayed in the library alone and spent a few days reading the history books. There's actually no description of this. She finished reading the last book and sighed. She opened her hand and a milky white bubble-like thing appeared in her palm. This was something that had been formed in her body by that power during the inheritance. It didn't seem to have any offensive power, and she didn't feel anything in her body. However, she could vaguely feel that the reason why she was struck so badly when she was promoted was because of it. However, this thing didn't seem to have any intelligence or power, so he didn't know what it was. The cloud spirit said that her strength this time would have a great impact in the future, which was why she was struck so badly. After thinking about it, this was the only possibility. She thought that since it was something that had been passed down in her family, it might be mentioned in her family's history. That was why he had read all the family history books. In the end, there was no mention of such a thing in those books. So, this was not something from the Sima family at all? Or was it that there was such a thing but it wasn't recorded? She thought about it, put the book back and went to look for Sima Qing. What powerful things did the ancestors have? Sima Qing looked at her and thought for a while. It doesn't seem like there's anything powerful. If one were to talk about something powerful, it would be that set of spiritual techniques. Is there a problem? Nothing much, I'm just curious as to why our ancestors are so powerful. Sima Yue said. Sima Qing should be the oldest person in the Sima family. If even he didn't know, then there was probably no one else who knew what it was. What exactly was this little bubble? If she couldn't figure it out, then she wouldn't think about it. Anyway, she wasn't the kind of person who liked to go down a dead end. If you have the time, go and comprehend some spiritual techniques. Sima Qing said, This set of spirit techniques is indeed much more profound than what we have now, and there are many parts that are not easy to understand. I think that since you were able to obtain this inheritance, you must be fated with it. Perhaps it will be easier for you to comprehend it. In the past few months, other than dealing with the Jiang family's affairs, most of the family's energy had been spent on comprehending spiritual techniques, but the results were minimal. I've also seen that spiritual technique. There are indeed many aspects that are different from what we're learning now. Some of them are even contradictory. If you want to learn this, you'll probably have to change everyone's views first. Sima Yu continued, I don't know if I'll be able to comprehend it. However, let's try our best. I believe you. Sima Qing's smile made her feel as if she had been checkmated by an old fox. The whole family is a sly old fox. She muttered in her heart and returned to her courtyard. When she reached the entrance of the courtyard, she saw Mu Si and a man walking out. The two of them were talking and laughing and seemed to be quite familiar with each other. At first, she thought that it was someone from the Sima family, but when she took a look, the material of the other party's clothes was different from the Sima family's. When Mu Si saw her, his eyes flashed and he bowed, saying, Master, you're back. Are you out of seclusion? I'm out. I didn't find anything useful over there. Sima Yue nodded slightly. This is? Yin Shang greets Miss Yue. That man didn't wait for Mu Si to introduce him and bowed to Sima Yue. Yin family? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. How was the Yin family so familiar with Mu Si? I'm the butler of Tangerine City's city lord's residence. Yin Shang said. Sima Yue understood. As expected, he was here to find Yin Lang. Yin Lang is still here? She guessed with certainty. Yes. He said that he wanted to wait for Master to come out of seclusion and didn't leave. Brother Shang would come to report to him sometimes. Mu Si explained. Is he treating the Sima family as his city lord's residence? Sima Yue said faintly, Are you guys going out? I won't hold you guys up. Yin Shang will take his leave. Yin Shang cupped his hands and left. Master, I'll send him out. When Mu Si saw Sima Yue coming out of seclusion, his face was full of smiles. Go ahead. I'll check on your homework later. Sima Yue said. This homework was naturally referring to the situation of his cultivation in the past few months. Alright, I'll be back soon. Mu Si left with light steps. Sima Yue looked at his back view and smiled. She turned and went into the courtyard to find someone to settle the score. Yin Lang was currently in his room, slumped on the couch and eating spirit fruits in satisfaction. The door was open, so he saw Sima Yue the moment she entered the courtyard. You're so comfortable here. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Are you planning to move your city lord's residence to my Sima family? How long have you been back and it's already become your Sima family? Yin Lang spat out 2 small cores and accurately threw them into the trash basket at the side. Don't say this to me. Sima Yue found a stool and sat down. Is it because great-grandfather and the rest think that you're my friend, so they can't bring themselves to chase you away? Don't say it's so estranged. Yin Lang said, I said that I want to follow you, so I naturally have to keep my word. Until you make me understand what true love is. Aren't you bored? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Don't tell me there's nothing for you to settle in Tangerine City? Yin family doesn't have anything for you to do? There's something for me to do. But I plan to bring you along, so I've been waiting for you to come out of seclusion. What is it? You're a seeker spirit master, right? Then are you interested in mineral veins? Yin Lang asked. Of course. Why, you found a mineral vein and you're going to give it to me? Sima Yue asked. Sure. Yin Lang answered straightforwardly. It was just a mineral vein. If it could make her smile, it would be good. Forget it. Sima Yue rejected first. What's wrong with a mineral vein? It's not a mineral vein. It's a mining area this time. It's an ancient mining area. How about it? Are you interested? Ancient mining area? Sima Yue was stunned and her breathing became rapid. Are you serious? Of course. How about it? Are you interested in taking a look? If it's really an ancient mining area, it's not bad to take a look. Then it's settled. I'll bring you there. If she wants to go, she'll go with me. You don't have to worry. Wu Lingyu's voice suddenly sounded. Sima Yue's eyes lit up and the corners of her mouth curved up unconsciously. This book came from the collection. Chapter 1477. It was Yin Lang's first time seeing her smile so sweetly. The blissful look on her face was something he had never seen before. Was this what she meant when she said that she liked someone? Wu Lingyu walked in from outside and Sima Yue welcomed him with a smile. Why are you here? Wu Lingyu hugged her shoulder and brushed her hair behind her back. He smiled and said, I missed you so I came. Sima Yue smiled even more brightly. She used her hand to hit his shoulder lightly and said, You didn't send me any news after so long. I thought something happened to you. Something happened. I'll tell you later. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand. All right. Yin Lang felt a little stuffy in his chest and it was difficult for him to breathe. He reached out and touched his chest. It was a little uncomfortable. Wu Lingyu noticed his condition and held Sima Yue's shoulder, saying, Didn't I say that you're not allowed to be with other men when I'm not around? This is? Cough cough, this is the City Lord of Tangerine City. Sima Yue introduced. So it's City Lord Lang. I'm sorry for not recognizing you. Wu Lingyu nodded at him. He did not treat him differently because of his identity. Yue, he's the man you like? Yin Lang didn't bother with Wu Lingyu. Looking at his hand on her shoulder, he had the urge to go up and push it away. Yes. Sima Yue admitted openly, he's the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. He's the holy son of the inner regions now. Wu Lingyu said. You're in the inner regions? Yes. They wanted to transfer me here in the past but I didn't like it. So it was left unsettled. Now that you're in the inner regions I naturally have to follow. Wu Lingyu said. So it's the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. Yin Lang felt that he could not breathe anymore. He stood up and said, I have something to do. I'll go settle it first. After he finished speaking, he did not wait for their reaction and left the room as if he was fleeing. After he left, Wu Lingyu leaned over and planted a heavy kiss on her lips. This is your punishment. I told you not to hook up with other men, but you let them live in our house. Sima Yue poked his chest. I didn't. Humph, don't think I don't know. He's been following you for a long time. Wu Lingyu said. If you already knew then why did you come so late? Sima Yue teased him. Why didn't you send me the news? You made me so worried. Don't change the topic. I only know that there's a man by your side, but I don't know how he's following you. I'll be lenient if you confess, I'll be strict if you resist. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and bit it lightly. You wanted to follow me? I didn't ask him to, Sima Yue said. Then why is he following you? Sima Yue leaned into his embrace and told him about how Yin Lang wanted her to be his woman and how he wanted to follow her. She raised her head and saw a certain someone gritting his teeth. He dares to make you his woman. He's really tired of living. All right, it's just a joke. Sima Yue said. Let's not talk about him. Why didn't you send me any news after so long? Did the Sage Pavilion punish you? No. Wu Lingyu saw that she was really worried and said, They only said a few words about what I did and didn't punish me. It's just that I was sent to do some things and was delayed for a while. Sima Yue did not ask him what he was doing. She just wanted him to be safe. I've seen the Phoenix Nirvana. The fruit hasn't ripened yet. I think we still have to wait for a while. Wu Lingyu said. Where is it in the Sage Pavilion? Is it easy to enter? Is there anything? Leave this to me. Wu Lingyu said. Don't worry, I'll definitely hand it over to you. Sima Yue looked at him and hooked her arms around his neck. She nodded and said, All right, I'll let you do your best. Is there a reward? Wu Lingyu's lips curled into a seductive arc, looking as if he was tempting her to commit a crime. Sima Yue tiptoed and planted a kiss on his lips. A reward. That's not enough. Wu Lingyu waved his hand and the room door closed automatically. After a long while, their lips parted. The two of them were breathing heavily. I really want to marry you quickly. Wu Lingyu pressed his head against hers, not daring to go any deeper. Sima Yue felt the thing pressing against her body and her face turned red. Oh right, do you have news about rising from the ashes? She changed the topic, not wanting the atmosphere in the room to be too ambiguous. When she mentioned this, the person above her head was silent. Oh? Sima Yue left his embrace and looked at him. What's wrong? Is there no news? No. Wu Lingyu was silent for a while. Actually, there is some news. Where is it? Wu Lingyu saw that her gaze was too urgent and kept his thoughts. The last news I got was that rising from the ashes is related to the hidden Xianqiu clan. However, whether it's in the Xianqiu clan or not, I can't be sure. What I can be sure of is that the Xianqiu clan at least knows where it is. Sima Yue was startled and laughed. If she knew that rising from the ashes was related to the Xianqiu clan, she would definitely go to the Xianqiu clan and contact Xianqiu He. So the reason why he didn't want to say it was because he didn't want her to look for Xianqiu He. Silly. She laughed and poked him. I just don't want you to look for him. Wu Lingyu hugged her. No matter how outstanding those people are, they can't be compared to you. This is what I mean by beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She laughed. Wu Lingyu saw the smile in her eyes. She actually dared to laugh at him. He captured her lips again and gave her a long and fierce kiss. Yin Lang actually didn't leave. He was outside. Although there was a barrier and he couldn't sense the situation inside, he still felt terrible. He wanted to pull her away from another man's embrace. It wasn't because she was pretty, but because he felt that there was an empty space in his heart that only she could fill. After a long while the door opened. She and Wu Lingyu walked out. Her slightly swollen red lips were telling of their intimate moment. He watched them walk out of the courtyard. He watched her smile sweetly at him. For the first time he felt that he really liked her. Was this the feeling of liking someone? Although he still wanted her to be his woman, his state of mind was different. If this is the feeling of liking someone, then this feeling is really terrible. He muttered and turned to leave. Sima Yue brought Wu Lingyu to see her family. She also told them that she would be leaving for a period of time. Chapter 1478. Perhaps they had already known that he was coming, but the entire living room had become similar to the tri-court trial. Sima Qing and Sima Zhiyuan sat in the main seats while Sima Hishun, Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying sat in the lower seats while Sima Lu Xian sat in the lower seats. Sima Qing frowned as he looked at Wu Lingyu. This is the guy who wants to kidnap our daughter? His tone was very unkind, as if he was unhappy that his cabbage was being eaten by a pig. Why do you have a partner at such a young age? Sima Hishun was unhappy as well, the holy son of the Sage Pavilion? Our relationship with the Sage Pavilion has never been good. How can we marry our daughter to them? Indeed you can't. Sima Yue could not help but feel speechless when she saw them singing the same tune. If Yu is willing, I can marry into your family. Wu Lingyu said. Poof. Sima Yue almost choked on her own saliva. She turned around and looked at him in shock. Was there something wrong with this fellow? If that's the case, I can consider it. Sima Qing stroked his chin and looked like he was deep in thought. Sima Yue guessed that he was calculating the pros and cons of marrying into the family. Although I'm still a little unhappy, I feel better than before. Sima Hishun said, I say, what do you guys think? Sima Zhiyuan had long accepted Wu Lingyu, while Sima Xiuqi and the others were filial family members. As long as Yue liked it, they would do anything. Grandpa, we have something to tell you this time. Sima Yue interrupted them. If he allowed them to continue, who knew what else they would say? What is it? Sima Lu Xian asked. I need to leave with Lingyu for a while. Sima Yue said. Are you guys going to elope? Sima Qing suddenly asked. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. If I really wanted to elope, why would I report it to you? Where are you going? How long will he be gone? Is there any danger? Wang Yingying asked. Sima Yue glanced at Wu Lingyu. Seeing that he did not object, she said, Lingyu said that he found an ancient mine in the 32 continents. Ancient mining area? Everyone's breathing quickened. Is this true? What Lingyu said must be true. Sima Yue trusted him completely. The ancient mines have always been unknown to people, the places where they are located are all very dangerous. The 32 continents have always been the strangest place in the inner regions, it is indeed possible to find an ancient mine there. Sima Hishun said. Many powers already know about this news. I think there should be a lot of people heading towards the 32 continents. Sima Yue said. Then we'll send someone over as well. Great-grandfather, patriarch, I think it's better for the family not to get involved in this mess. Sima Yue said. What? Lingyu said that the ancient mine is too strange. Sima Yue said, the place where it was found is strange, the place where it appeared is strange. Even that place is filled with evil. Evil? Yes. Those who went in have not come out yet. Wu Lingyu said, actually that place was discovered more than 10 years ago, but those who went in never came out. However, every few years, those people's things would be found outside the mine. Without exception. It's that dangerous. Although it's dangerous, it's still very attractive. Sima Hishun said. That's right. Wu Lingyu nodded. At first, this news did not spread because the powers who discovered it had been suppressing the news, trying to take the mine for themselves. However, later on they found out that it was a hard bone to chew, so the news slowly spread. When the news spreads, there will definitely be a lot of powers going. The family has just experienced the Jiang family's incident and has not fully recovered yet. In addition, it's too dangerous there. Even if the family goes, they may not be able to gain anything. Sima Yue said, there are some opportunities that we have to participate in, but some opportunities may not be suitable for us. We still have to consider this matter from the perspective of actual strength. Everyone was silent. She was right, the Sima family's current strength was indeed not enough to participate in this matter, but that was the ancient mine. Even if they obtained a little bit, it might help the family revitalize. Yue is right, although the temptation is great, we still need to have enough strength. Sima Hishun said, for this matter we'll just watch. Yue, won't it be too dangerous for you to go? Huang Yingying was worried. Why don't we bring some people with you? Grandma Lingyu is here. Sima Yue said with a smile, I'll go alone so I can adapt to the situation. Don't worry. Huang Yingying looked at Wu Lingyu and knew that he was very powerful. With him around, Yue should be fine. When are you leaving? Sima Lu Xian asked. It's best if you can leave immediately, the news spreads quickly, I don't know how many people have already rushed over. Sima Yue said, if you go earlier, you might be able to obtain something and bring it back for the family. Alright then. If there's anything, you must contact the family. Sima Ji Yuan said worriedly, the family will prepare more things for you later, you can leave tomorrow. Okay. Sima Yue replied. Anyway, it was just a day or two away. Then you can go back first, when the things are prepared I'll get someone to send it to you. Sima Ji Yuan said. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment, then took out a box and said, Old ancestor, this thing belongs to Lingyu, I made a copy of it. I think it will be more effective when used together with the family's cultivation methods and spirit techniques. What is this? Sima Qing took the box and opened it, seeing a handwritten copy. This is the Imperial Beast art. Sima Yue said, for hundreds of thousands of years, this is the best Imperial Beast art. The box in Sima Qing's hand almost fell to the ground, the hand that was holding the copy trembled. What did you say this is? He couldn't believe his ears. This is the Imperial Beast art, Lingyu got it by accident and taught it to me later. I think the family's main spirit technique is fusion, so there's a high demand for spirit beasts. If there are good spirit beasts, our family strength will definitely increase by a few times. This way the family strength will naturally increase as well. Sima Yue said. It's actually the Imperial Beast art? I didn't expect that we would be able to see the Imperial Beast art with our own eyes. Sima Qing was so excited that he was almost speechless. Looking at the copy in his hand, he still felt that it was an illusion. Oh right, when using this Imperial Beast art to tame spirit beasts, both the contractor and the spirit beast will increase their strength during the contract. Usually it can help the person advance. Sima Yue said, this Imperial Beast art has been lost, so it's best not to let others know about this. Otherwise, it won't be something that can revive the family, but a talisman that will hasten the family's demise. Chapter 1479. Of course we know that. Sima Qing said seriously, when the time comes we'll get the people who are learning it to keep it a secret. They wanted to rise, not perish. This Imperial Beast art was enough to make everyone in the mainland go crazy. Its influence would not be lower than Sky Splitter. He looked at Sima Yue, his heart filled with emotions. Just like the rumors in the family, she was the family's lucky star. Once she came back, she brought a lot of changes to the family. Sometimes, a spirit technique could make a power rise quickly. Fusion was a very powerful spirit technique, or else the Sima family would not be in the limelight for a period of time. Now, with the Imperial Beast art, as long as these two were mastered, the rise of the Sima family was only a matter of time. However, just like what she said, this could not be known by others or else it would bring endless trouble. These people were all smart, she did not need to say anything else. Then we'll go back first. Sima Yue bowed to them and brought Wu Lingyu back. On the way back, the Sima family saw her and ran over to greet her. Wu Lingyu did not say anything at first, but later on, he found that most of the people who came up to greet her were men, and all of them looked at Sima Yue with sparkling eyes, and his heart started to feel uncomfortable. Therefore, when he saw someone coming up just now, he grabbed her hand and silently declared his ownership. The Sima family was curious about his identity at first, but in a blink of an eye, they saw him holding their goddess hand, and for a moment, everyone did not react. What does he mean by this? What else could it mean? He's unhappy with you guys. Sima Chi laughed. Yue is taken. Damn. Are you telling the truth? Of course. Didn't you see that Yue did not struggle free? Sima Chi looked at their disappointed faces, taking pleasure in their misfortune. Who asked you to hang around outside Yue's courtyard all day? Sima Yue looked up at Wu Lingyu's expressionless face, and laughed secretly in her heart. However, she allowed him to hold her hand and walk around the Sima residence. Thank you. For what? Thank you for agreeing to let me take out the taming beast art. Sima Yue said with a smile. Before I went to meet them, I already said that since I've already given it to you, you can do whatever you want with it. This is your family. If they can become stronger, it will be good for you. We'll talk about it later. What? Since I'm going to marry into your family, these things will also belong to the Sima family in the future. Ahem ahem. Sima Yue stared at her in shock. Are you serious? Are you kidding? Who said I was joking? Wu Lingyu glanced at her indifferently. If they don't agree to you marrying me, then I'll have to marry into their family. Are you willing to elope with me? Sima Yue's lips twitched. Was this guy serious? Wu Lingyu's face suddenly enlarged in front of her eyes. The two of them were about to be together again. Don't you think so? Wu Lingyu took the opportunity to steal a kiss on her lips. Do whatever you want. Sima Yue held his face with both hands and pushed him away. She even pinched him while she was at it. As for eloping, that was definitely impossible. Whether she would marry into his family or marry into his family, they would discuss this later. The people who were following them saw that they actually kissed and their hearts broke. Many of them beat their chests and stomped their feet. Their goddess had really gotten together with him. Why did their goddess already belong to someone else when they only had one? What are you afraid of? They're not even married. How can we admit defeat? There's no wall that can't be dug, only a shovel that isn't hard enough. Someone shouted. That's right. It's not like we don't have a chance. From tomorrow onwards, I'll go and make my presence known. When she remembers me, there might be hope. I'll do that too. However, the next day when they went for a stroll outside the courtyard, they received news that she had already left with Wu Lingyu. Everyone was stunned. Then they were like eggplants that had been beaten by frost and could not lift their spirits. Why did she leave just like that? At this moment, Sima Yue was standing outside the Spiritualist Guild, looking at Wu Lingyu and Yin Lang staring at each other. She and Wu Lingyu had arrived at the Spiritualist Guild early in the morning, preparing to use the teleportation array to go to Cord City. There was a spatial ship that went to the 32 continents there. Unexpectedly, they saw Yin Lang the moment they arrived. After this guy ran away yesterday, she did not see him for the whole day. She did not expect him to be waiting for her here. Since we're both going there, let's go together. No need. Wu Lingyu rejected directly. It's not on the way. It's not up to you whether it's on the way or not. Then the two of them stared at each other. The two of them stared at each other for more than 10 minutes. Just as Sima Yue was about to speak, they spoke again. You're not confident. Yin Lang said, you're afraid that if I go with you, she'll like me. Do you think such a childish method of provocation will work on me? Wu Lingyu's eyes were filled with self-confidence and contempt for other men. However, I won't interfere with her freedom to make friends. If you want to follow, then follow. That's what you said. Of course. It's getting late, let's go. After Wu Lingyu finished speaking, he pulled Sima Yue's hand and entered the Spiritualist Guild. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. Yin Lang might not know, but she knew what he was thinking when she saw his eyes. He let Yin Lang follow, not because he did not want to interfere with her freedom to make friends, but because he wanted to show off their affection in front of Yin Lang, provoke him and make him give up on her. How childish. However, she did not say anything. If he wanted to do it, then do it. As long as he did not go overboard, she was still willing to accommodate him. The three of them went to Cord City. As the spatial ship would arrive in a few days, they went to the He family. He Zhenjiang and Su Lunyan were very happy to see Sima Yue. This child, you didn't even tell us you were coming. Although Su Lunyan was complaining, the smile on her face was very warm. We came to take the spatial ship. There are still a few days left, so we came to see you and check on you. Sima Yue said. My body is very good. The discomfort of my soul being trapped for so many years has completely recovered. Su Lunyan said. Still, we have to check on you. Sima Yue checked on her and confirmed that her body was fine before completing her treatment. Zhenjiang and the rest were at the side. When they heard that they were going to take the spatial ship a few days later, he said, You're going to the 32nd continent? Yes. Are you sure you want to participate? I heard that it's very strange inside. Zhenjiang asked. Uncle He, you don't plan to go? Sima Yue asked. He must have heard the news, but hearing this, he did not plan to participate. Chapter 1480. This ancient mine is too strange. Although it's a great opportunity, you have to be alive to get it. He Xinjiang didn't let this get to his head. Besides, I have more important things to deal with. Are we going to investigate the corpses? Sima Yue asked. That's right. He Xinjiang replied, how dare you lay your hands on fleeting time? Moreover, I feel that this matter may not be limited to just us. Uncle He, what have you found? There are indeed some things that don't make sense. He Xinjiang hesitated for a moment and decided to tell her the information he had found. When you go out this time, you must be on guard against people wearing black cloaks. Black cloak? There should be a lot of people dressed like this. Right now we only know that those are black cloaks. We haven't found any other insignia. He Xinjiang said, according to the information we've gathered in the past few months, there have been many strange deaths on the continent. However, the Yang family has nothing to do with this. How so? I can't say for sure, but when I saw the corpse, it didn't feel like a normal death. He Xinjiang said, I also saw a corpse last month. I found it really strange. If those people were killed by the undead, then they would naturally carry the aura of death. You're all light attribute soul masters, so it's natural for you to feel uncomfortable. Sima Yue explained. It should be. He Xinjiang said, also, over the years many dead bodies have disappeared. Gone? They must have been taken back and turned into corpses. Sima Yue said confidently, kill the people they want to kill and turn those people into their strength. This way they will become more and more powerful. Yue, don't corpses rot and emit a stench? How can those people last for so long? Su Lunyan asked curiously. They must have used some secret method to deal with the corpses, Sima Yue guessed. However, we can only know the details when we see the corpses. No matter what, be careful, Su Lunyan reminded. We will, Sima Yue replied. Let's go, I'll take you to your accommodation. If it wasn't for the fact that it's inconvenient for me to appear in front of others, I'd like to take a look at this matter too. Su Lunyan held Sima Yue's hand and chatted as they walked. When she found out that Wu Lingyu was Sima Yue's sweetheart, she looked at him in surprise and then shook her head regretfully. I even said that I would introduce my nephew to you. Now that you mention it, it's not good. Su Lunyan said regretfully. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Introduce a nephew to her? Was he trying to matchmake her? Su Lunyan did not wait for her to continue and continued, speaking of which, my nephew is considered to be one of the best in this generation. If I'm compatible with you, I should be able to barely match you. Alas, it's a pity that it's too late. Sima Yue did not know what to say and could only smile awkwardly. All right, don't be embarrassed. I'm just saying. Su Lunyan looked at her and smiled, but she was still as gentle as before. Oh right, he's going to the ancient mine too. When you meet him, take care of him. I wonder who Aunt He's nephew is? He's called Su Yu. Su Yu? The genius from the Su family in the 19th region? Yin Lang said in surprise, you're from the Su family? Yes. Su Lunyan smiled. You know him? Sima Yue asked. The Su family is a big family in the 19th region. Su Yu is a genius whose reputation is similar to your father's. Yin Lang said, of course compared to me he's still a little lacking. Sima Yue knew that her father and master were very famous in the inner region. To be as famous as her father, this person's reputation was not small either. She wondered if master would go too. She had not seen him for a long time. If he saw that she had grown to this stage, would he be proud? And is there a Feng family in Yi region? She asked. No what? Su Lunyan was curious. My master and my father are good friends. I think he should be from Yi region. Sima Yue said. Since he's your father's friend, you didn't ask your father? Later on, because of my mother, their relationship was a little awkward. I didn't know if my father would want to mention him, so I didn't ask. Sima Yue said, his name is Feng Zhixing from the Feng family in the inner region. You're talking about Feng Zhixing. I knew when you mentioned his name. Su Lunyan said, there's no Feng family here, but there's a force attached to the Feng family. Which force is that? Integral Moon Palace. Integral Moon Palace? Is it that Integral Moon Palace? Sima Yue looked at Yin Lang. Why was this guy's expression so strange? What's wrong? Integral Moon Palace is a very mysterious force. They will travel in the inner region, but very few people know where they are. Yin Lang said, it's not just the Feng family. They have many other forces attached to them in the mainland. Those forces will send their disciples or clansmen in. Once they enter, they will have a very high status in Integral Moon Palace. Your master is one of them. Doesn't that mean we can't find him? Sima Yue was a little disappointed. The matter at the ancient mining area was so big. Maybe they will go too. Su Lunyan comforted. When your master knows that you're in the inner region, he will definitely come to find you. I'm not in a hurry. Sima Yue replied. Sima Yue and the other two stayed in the He family for a few days. When the spatial ship arrived, they left. What surprised her was that she actually saw Yang Shi and the other two on the ship. They haven't left after so long? Sima Yue pursed her lips. She really didn't want to see them. However, Yang Shi obviously didn't think so. When she saw Sima Yue, or more accurately when she saw Yin Lang beside Sima Yue, she walked towards her with a fervent gaze. Miss Yue, what a coincidence. We meet again. Yang Shi smiled and greeted her. Hee, what a coincidence. Sima Yue pursed her lips. The meeting has been over for so long. Why are you still here? We were delayed for a while because of Madame He's illness. Later on we felt that this place was not bad, so we stayed until now. Although Yang Shi was answering her, her gaze kept drifting towards Yin Lang. As for Li Yao and Fang Qi, ever since they saw Wu Lingyu, their eyes had never moved away. When Sima Yue saw those two pairs of naked eyes, she felt that they were an eyesore. She held Wu Lingyu's arm and smiled at them. It's a little late. We'll go back and rest first. Lingyu, let's go back. Chapter 1481. Wu Lingyu's heart melted when he saw her pouting. Since you're tired, go in and rest. There's nothing much to see outside anyway. With that, he led her into the room, not giving them a single glance. Li Yao and Fang Qi retracted their gazes in disappointment. They turned to see Yin Lang still looking over there, his eyes dark. City Lord Lang, who is that person? Fang Qi was the worst at reading people's expressions and directly asked what she wanted to know. The Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion. Yin Lang answered and walked around them to return to his room. Yang Shi clenched her fists so tightly that her nails were about to pierce into her flesh. She was a living person standing there, but Yin Lang didn't even look at her. All his attention was on that woman. She already had a partner. Was he still unwilling to give up? I didn't expect that person to be the Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion. Fang Qi hugged her chest, so excited that she was about to faint. Why are you so excited? Didn't you see that woman's declaration? Yang Shi sneered, that man dotes on that bitch Sima Yue a lot. That woman is really despicable. No matter where she goes, there's no lack of men around her. Now she's even occupying City Lord Lang and the Holy Sun. Fang Qi said hatefully. That's right. That's why she deserves to die now. Li Yao said faintly. If they wanted to kill her before to please Yang Shi, then they had a reason to kill her now. They were on the boat now, so they couldn't do anything. After they got off the boat, since they were all going to the 32 continents, they were definitely going for the ancient mine. They heard that it was very evil there. When the time came, they would have plenty of opportunities to make a move on her. In the room, Wu Lingyu leaned on the bed while Sima Yue lay down with her head on his lap and her hands playing with his hair. You know those people just now? His magnetic voice had a hint of ridicule. Forget it. They wanted to kill me. Sima Yue said. She felt the pressure around her become lower. She patted his body and said, I haven't done anything yet. I'm just thinking about it. Even if you want it, you deserve to die. Wu Lingyu's voice was very soft, but it was filled with endless killing intent. I say, are you still the Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion? Do you think you can kill as you please? Sima Yue glared at him. I'm the Devil King of the Devil World. Of course I can kill whenever I want to. Wu Lingyu didn't think much of it. Wasn't it just killing a person? He had killed countless people in the past. This is not the demon realm. Sima Yue said, they haven't done anything yet. If they really want to do something, I won't be an obedient lamb. However, I think this possibility is very high. Sima Yue tugged at his hair. Didn't you see how Fang Qi and Li Yao were staring at you? If Yang Shi was the only one who really wanted to kill me in the past, it was also because I didn't have any feelings for Yin Lang and hadn't taken any action yet. Now that they have you and you're my boyfriend, I think they won't be able to hold back anymore. I'll go and settle them. Just as he finished speaking, Sima Yue tugged at his hair again. Only the weak and incompetent would rely on men to settle the war between women. She snorted. If you go and kill them, won't you say that I'm weak and incompetent and can't even protect my own man? All right then, I'll let you protect me. Wu Lingyu moved his legs and scooped her up with his long arms. He hugged her in his arms and bent down to kiss her lips. On the way to the 32nd continent, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu stayed in the house and didn't go out. Sima Yue took out the armament refining manual to read and asked Wu Lingyu to give her some pointers. She told him about the process of refining the materials and he immediately pointed out where she was lacking. Sima Yue heard what he said and was instantly enlightened, as if there was a qualitative improvement. She tried according to what he said and indeed, the purity increased by a lot. How do you know everything? What was in your head in the past? She held his face with both hands and looked left and right, as if she wanted to pry open his head to take a look. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand. I was born with it, you can't be envious. Two faint red marks were printed on her fair face. She calmly retracted her hand. Sorry, my hand slipped. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand that she wanted to retract and smiled. Did your hand slip? He rubbed it on his face and said, and it's indeed very slippery. Sima Yue blushed. This guy was really a hooligan when he wasn't serious. Outside the room, Yin Lang stood in the corridor with a lonely expression. It had been so long and they hadn't come out since they went in. He thought he knew what would happen between the two of them. In the distance, Yang Shi and the other two's gazes were filled with viciousness. However, one was because of Yin Lang and the other two were because of Wu Lingyu. Looks like we really have to get rid of her quickly. Fang Qi said hatefully. I think so too. We don't have to wait until the ancient mining area. For the first time, Li Yao felt that her existence was too much of an eyesore. If we don't go to the ancient mining area, do you have the confidence to kill her without them knowing? Yang Shi sneered. Since you like that man, don't leave a bad impression in his heart. The ancient mining area can easily take someone's life. If anything happens to her, it won't be pushed to us. All right then, we'll let her live for 2 more days. The 32nd state and the 64th state were a little far away. They stayed on the spatial ship for a month before arriving. When the ship was about to stop, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu came out of the room. Yin Lang immediately noticed that she had changed her clothes. Because spirit masters usually avoided dust, their clothes wouldn't get dirty even if they wore them for a long time. Usually they might change more frequently, but when they were outside and inconvenient, they wouldn't change. She actually changed her clothes in the room with the man. Li Yao also noticed it, so her gaze became even deeper, and the hatred in her eyes became even more profound. Wu Lingyu had a very comfortable feeling. Seeing him, her heart finally felt like it had found a home. She knew that this could be due to the Sage Pavilion's techniques, but she couldn't help but fall in love with him after seeing him once. Sima Yue and the other two handed the room number to the beautiful crew members on the deck and walked down the spatial ship. Yang Shi and the others immediately chased after them. We don't like outsiders. Wu Lingyu said lightly, then pulled Sima Yue and left without looking back. Yang Shi and the others were stunned. They hadn't even said anything and they were rejected? It must have been instigated by this little slut. This time they definitely wouldn't let her off. The three of them had this thought at the same time. It had to be said that only birds of a feather could walk together. Chapter 1482. Sima Yue and the others left the spatial ship and rushed towards the ancient mining area. Sima Yue sat on a flying beast that was rented from the Soul Master Guild. It looked similar to the primordial bird. This matter was handled by Yin Lang's people. Not long after they got off the spaceship, Yin Lang brought them to the side of the flying beast. Speaking of which, why don't we use a teleportation array instead of a flying beast? The 32 prefectures have the fewest teleportation formations among all the prefectures. Because the space here is unstable, it's not suitable to build a teleportation array, Yin Lang explained. Besides, the teleportation array can't reach where we want to go. How long will it take? About half a month. I'm not sure. It depends. Sima Yue was curious. What did he mean by depending on the situation? After encountering a few tornadoes, she finally understood that it was impossible to travel in that kind of weather. The weather here is really strange. There's actually a tornado storm. They hid in the cave and listened to the howling of the wind outside. The 32 states have always been rather strange, so there are many wastelands. It is also because of this that the ancient mine has never been discovered. Yin Lang said. Perhaps someone has discovered it before, but no one has been able to come out. Sima Yue guessed, I wonder if this extreme weather has anything to do with the ancient mine. There's no way to prove it. The possibility of one mine affecting the climate of an entire province is too small, Wu Lingyu said. Butterfly effect, Sima Yue said. Butterfly effect? This was the first time Yin Lang had heard of this, so he was a little curious. Sima Yue explained to him what the butterfly effect was, and Yin Lang was speechless. According to this theory, it might really be possible. Whether or not it's possible, it doesn't affect us because we can't change anything. After saying that, Sima Yue looked at the sand and stones that had been blown up by the strong wind. How long will this weather last? At most half a month, at least 3 to 5 days. Then we'll have to wait. She looked around. It was a very spacious cave. There was nothing special about it. Since we have to wait, let's do something here. What are you trying to do now? Of course it's to reward us and our flying beasts. Huh? Yin Lang watched as Sima Yue took out a bunch of pots and pans, as well as vegetables and meat on the table. Are you going to cook? He looked at her in surprise as she skillfully organized those things. That's right. Sima Yue smiled at him. Don't you have nothing to do? Spirit masters can even cook. Spirit masters didn't like to eat, much less cook. Yin Lang had reservations about her approach. Well, perhaps even if it wasn't delicious, he would still eat it. Sima Yue knew what he was thinking. She smiled and did not say anything. Wu Lingyu came to her side and skillfully handed her the ingredients and condiments. Yin Lang looked at the two of them. They had such chemistry between them. Every time Sima Yue wanted something, the item would be placed in front of her when she looked up. She, on the other hand, smiled at him and then lowered her head to continue cooking. He lowered his head. The tacit understanding between the two of them was definitely not something that could be formed overnight. Every time she looked at his smile, it was so sweet. It was a kind of happiness that came from the bottom of her heart. This was a feeling she did not have when she smiled at others. After some time, there was a fragrant smell in the cave. Even the flying beast changed its form and ran over. Squeak, squeak. Flying beasts like them were all domesticated by humans. They could not speak and all their strength was transferred to speed. The little guy kept running around in circles, very excited. Sima Yu looked at it and threw a piece of roasted meat that was already roasted to it. The little fellow held the meat in its mouth and ate it in one bite. Then it stared at her with wide eyes. You little fellow, you eat so fast. Although Sima Yue was scolding it, her hands did not stop moving. She took another plate of roasted meat for it. It smells so good. Yin Lang came over at some point and took a plate of barbecued meat to eat. Go with this. Sima Yue took out a jar of wine and threw it over. Yin Lang caught it and opened the seal. The fragrance of the wine wafted out. It tastes really good. Alright, I heard that you open many restaurants outside. They sell many kinds of fruit wine. Yin Lang took a sip. The taste was really good. I didn't expect you to make such delicious food. Of course. Sima Yue said, but there are not many people who can eat the food I make. Then I'm really lucky. Yin Lang's mouth was full of bitterness. He did not know how to describe this luck. Wu Lingyu saw that he was a little down and smiled. The food in his mouth tasted even better. Who told you to follow me? Looking for a beating, humph? Sima Yue prepared a big table of food. Because the little fellow was here, she prepared a lot of roasted meat and some stir-fried vegetables. When she sat down, the little fellow was already full and went to the side to rest. Everyone going quickly. Hurried voices and messy footsteps came from outside. Then a group of people ran in from outside. As they ran, they cursed their bad luck for encountering such terrible weather. It smells so good. A voice full of surprise came from the entrance of the cave. Then a figure rushed in quickly. Bang! That figure crashed into a blue barrier and was bounced back, falling heavily on the ground. It hurts. That person held his butt and said in pain. Sima Yue felt that this scene was a little familiar. In the blink of an eye, she heard a familiar voice and saw a familiar person. It's you. Why are you here? She and the person shouted at the same time. Siyu jumped up from the ground and came in front of Sima Yue. She was afraid that she would crash into the blue barrier again. Lingyu. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu waved her hand and the barrier disappeared. I knew it. Only you can make something so fragrant. Siyu sat on the table and stuffed a piece of roasted meat into her mouth. Then she happily chatted with her. Siyu, why are you here? Sima Yue took out Siyu's favorite wine and placed it in front of her. You guys find a place to rest. Siyu waved to the people behind her and answered Sima Yue's question. After you left, I felt that Ghost City was too boring, so I wanted to come out and walk around. Father and the rest couldn't persuade me, so they sent a group of people to accompany me. I didn't want to at first, but this was the only way I could come out and play. So I agreed. Hehe, I didn't expect to meet you so soon. We are really fated. Chapter 1483. Your father really trusts you. Sima Yue sighed. Of course. Siyu giggled and said, Father said we haven't been out for a long time, so it's okay to come out and see the outside world. What if you're in danger? Sima Yue glanced at the people she brought along. Although they were strong, there were not many of them. We have a special way to get out. If there's anything I need, I can contact them. They'll be here soon. I don't need to go through so much trouble like you guys. Siyu didn't say much, but seeing how confident she was, she probably really had a way. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. They had lived in Ghost City for generations, and there would be people who would come out. After so many years, it was reasonable for them to think of ways that others did not know of. By the way, how was the city after we left? It's pretty much the same as before, just that the southern part of the city has been divided up. In the past, there was one city lord and 4 stewards, but now it's a tripartite balance of power. Siyu said. The Zhang family is also willing? How could I not be willing? Their boss has been killed by you, so there's no one left who's powerful. What else can they do under such circumstances? That's true. Wu Lingyu remained silent at the side. Yin Lang was very shocked when he heard their conversation. Ghost City? Could it be the legendary place? She was so familiar with the people in Ghost City and even talked about things there. Could it be that she had been there before? Although he was shocked, he didn't show it on his face and continued to eat. Yue, are you going to the ancient mining area as well? We can keep each other company. You're going there too? That's right. Father said that since we're already out, let's go take a look and broaden my horizons. Who knows, we might even encounter a dark elemental ancient spiritual beast. How cool would it be to snatch one back? Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Snatch an ancient spiritual beast? If there really was a living spirit beast, wouldn't that be a terrifying thing? Like Little Gold, it was still in the growth stage, but its combat strength didn't lose to Little 7. If it evolved to the mature stage, its combat power would increase exponentially. This place can't be compared to your place. If you want to follow me, you have to listen to me. She first laid down 3 rules. Otherwise, if this guy made a scene, she might not be able to stop him. Sure. No problem. Who asked you to be the little sister? Siyu hooked her arms around Sima Yue's neck and said, I've always listened to you, haven't I? When the time comes, you have to listen to me. Otherwise, I won't bring you along anymore. I know. Yue, you've become so long-winded since you came back. Sima Yue glared at Siyu. When did she become naggy? It was clearly because the environment was different. In Ghost City, she was the young mistress of the Sea family, the princess of the northern part of the city. Anyone who saw her had to give in to her. However, this was not the Ghost City. This was the inner region, a place where there were many experts. They didn't care whether she was the princess of Ghost City or not. As long as she was provoked, they would kill her without hesitation. She analyzed the current situation to Siyu. She didn't want Siyu's personality to cause her to lose her life. Siyu nodded seriously and said with a serious face, I'm just here for fun. I'll listen to everything you say. Don't worry. Sima Yue saw her promise and thought of her playful personality in Ghost City. She really didn't feel at ease. After eating and drinking their fill, Sima Yue and Siyu sat at the entrance of the cave and chatted. The others were meditating and resting in the cave. Sima Yue told Siyu many things about the mainland. This was Siyu's first time outside and everything was new to her. She was excited to hear everything and was so tired that Sima Yue talked until the wind stopped. Sima Yue had to say that she was lucky. This time the wind didn't last for long. Once the sky cleared up, they continued on their journey. During the flight, there were many places below that had been ravaged by the wind. Although there were no landslides, there were large rocks everywhere. Tall trees were uprooted and scattered on the ground. It should have been blown over from other places. Looking at the mess below, Sima Yue sighed. No wonder no one lived here. It really wasn't a good place to live. The space here is a little unstable. It's best if you follow our flying beast. Yin Lang said. Is your flying beast very powerful? Siyu was a little confused. That little bird looked ordinary and didn't even know how to speak. They aren't strong, but they've been living here for a long time. They know what to pay attention to. Alright then. Siyu instructed their flying beasts and followed Yin Lang and the rest. After a few days, they were about to reach the ancient mining area when they encountered a similar weather. They had no choice but to find a place to rest. With a foodie like Siyu around, Sima Yue had no choice but to become a chef again and cook a meal for everyone. The sky cleared up and they continued on their journey. Not long after, they met again. They waited and continued on their journey. It was supposed to only take half a month, but they walked for almost a month before arriving. No wonder Yin Lang said that the time was uncertain. Sima Yue and the rest came to a desert. The desert was surrounded by people and many tents were set up. Is this the ancient mining area? The scorching temperature made Siyu a little uncomfortable. Not really. Wu Lingyu rarely spoke. This is the Takagon Desert. The mining area is in the center. It's still a long way from here. Then why is everyone guarding here and not going in? Once you enter this desert, you won't be able to come out. It can be said that the evil of the ancient mining area started here. Yin Lang said, so everyone chose to set up camp here to observe the situation. So many powers don't dare to enter. How evil is this desert? Siyu's eyes lit up again. She would be like this every time she encountered something fun. Let's find a place to set up camp first. Then we'll see if we can find out more information. Sima Yue said. Okay. They left these people and chose a place with fewer people to set up camp. After setting up the camp, she released some of the stronger scarlet bees to try to find out more information. Very soon the latest news came. It was even faster than Yin Lang's men. How is it? Is there any news? Siyu came over and asked. They said that many people have gone in recently, but no one has come out yet. Sima Yue said, some of them have been in for almost a year. People have gone in so early? Siyu was shocked. A year is not considered long in there. Wu Lingyu said, this should be left behind by someone. There are more people who have all gone in. We can't calculate the time. Chapter 1484. Then when are we going in? Siyu was concerned about this. There's no rush. Let's wait and see what happens. Sima Yue said. This mine must be very attractive to you, right? Aren't you guys anxious? Siyu asked. What's the hurry? No matter how good the item is, you have to be alive to take it. Sima Yue said, nothing is as valuable as a life. We've just arrived here and we don't know anything about the situation inside. If we go in rashly, we might be left behind as well. That's true. Siyu was no longer anxious. Sima Yue released a lot of scarlet bees into the desert when no one was paying attention. If they could send back information, they would have an advantage over the others. Then you guys go ahead, I'll go take a look around. Siyu went for a stroll after speaking. Sima Yue watched as Siyu left alone. She waved to the people following her and instructed, follow your young miss and inform us if anything happens. Stop her and don't do anything too dangerous. Yes, Miss Yue. Those people had seen Sima Yue before and knew that she had some status in the Xi family, so they had no objections to what she said. Hearing her order, a few people followed her. Yin Lang didn't set up camp. After Siyu left, he walked over. Yue, I'm going back. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she nodded. At this point, Yin Lang was going to return to his family or go to Tangerine City. All right. Let us know if you need anything. Yin Lang was also stunned. Seeing her clean and straightforward gaze, he smiled and said, okay. If there's anything, I'll let you know. With his status, very few people would speak to him like this. The concern in her eyes was not fake. She was really worried that something would happen to him. She clearly wasn't very strong and she clearly knew that he would definitely have experts protecting him, but she still took care of him. This was what she meant by concern between friends. He turned around and left with a bitter smile on his face. Friends? After he left, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked around to check out their surroundings. Suddenly, the sound of spiritual energy clashing could be heard from afar. Sima Yue turned her head and saw a dark spiritual technique. She rubbed her brows helplessly. How long had this girl been out? How did she get into a fight with someone? Let's go take a look. She and Wu Lingyu flew towards the battlefield. Sima Yue's mouth twitched when she saw the person fighting Siyu. Why was she fighting with Li Yao? Looking at Fang Qi, who was lying on the ground, she guessed that she had injured her first before fighting with Li Yao. Stop. Sima Yue flew over and pulled Siyu, who was about to use her spiritual technique, back to avoid Li Yao's attack. The guards behind Siyu heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Sima Yue. Young Miss did not listen to them, but she would listen to Yue's words. Li Yao saw Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu behind her and suppressed the spiritual technique behind them. You guys know each other? She asked solemnly. She's my friend. Sima Yue admitted and did not deny that Siyu was a dark spiritual master. Yue, do you know them? Siyu asked. I do. Why are you guys fighting? Sima Yue nodded. You just left the camp and you're already fighting with others. Are you ignoring my words? Siyu stuck out her tongue. They were the ones who provoked me. What's going on? I was passing by and they saw that I was prettier than them, so they were jealous of me and chased me away. They even spoke rudely to me. I've never been treated like this before, so I naturally argued with them. Then we started fighting. In the end, this person couldn't win, so he found a helper. Siyu pointed at Fang Qi with a smug look. This is all a misunderstanding. Yang Shi came out of the tent. Li Yao and the others didn't know that she was your friend. Since we all know each other, why don't we each take a step back? These three women were really like ghosts that wouldn't leave. Sima Yue cursed in her heart and turned to Siyu. Since that's the case, let's forget about this matter. Luckily we met young Miss Yang this time, so we can talk nicely. If you cause trouble for me again, I won't care about you anymore. Siyu pursed her lips and said, all right, I won't argue with them. Li Yao returned to the ground and came in front of Sima Yue and the others. She bowed slightly. Your Highness, Holy Son Yu, since there's nothing else, let's go back. Wu Lingyu said to Sima Yue. He obviously ignored the person in front of him. All right. Young Miss Yang, young Miss Li, young Miss Fang will go back first. Sima Yue greeted the three of them and pulled Siyu to leave. Young Miss Yue, wait a moment. Yang, she called out to Sima Yue. Seeing her turn around, she revealed a smile that she thought was sincere. We'll be going to the desert in a few days to take a look. Do you want to come with us? Go into the desert? We don't even know the situation inside and we're going in rashly. Isn't that too dangerous? Sima Yue said. We're not going in deep. Yang Shi explained, we're just going to walk around the periphery to understand the desert. We've already asked around and there's no danger at the periphery. How will walking around the periphery help us understand the mining area? Sima Yue asked. Would it help? Of course not. But she couldn't say that. Understand the desert's environment. When we enter the mining area, we'll be more familiar with it. She thought of a more far-fetched reason. She thought that Sima Yue would reject her, but she didn't expect her to agree so readily. All right. When are we going? Tomorrow. All right, I'll come here to look for you tomorrow. Sima Yue turned and left after saying that. She didn't say anything more to them. Are we taking action tomorrow? Li Yao asked. Yes, I saw City Lord Lang when I went out just now. He came out of her camp with a disappointed look on his face. Seeing him feel bad because of another woman, I actually feel bad too. What a joke. Yang Shi smiled bitterly and turned back to her tent. Since you made him sad, then you don't have to live anymore. Sima Yue pulled Siyu back. Siyu pulled her hand and said, are those people your friends? Why do I feel that it's weird for them to invite you? When did I say that they were my friends? Sima Yue asked back. Yeah. Then why did you agree to go with them? Those people don't look like they have good intentions. Siyu said worriedly. They want to use this opportunity to kill me. Of course they don't have good intentions. Chapter 1485. Book title. Chapter surrounded by spirit beasts. Author Siyu's eyes widened. You knew she wanted to kill you and you still agreed? We don't know who will die then. Sima Yue shrugged nonchalantly and continued to walk forward. Siyu chased after him and came to a realization. So you want to as well? It's not me, it's them. Sima Yue smirked. If they don't move, I won't move. Even if they do, I'm not meat on the chopping block. Tsk, I think you just want to deal with them. Siyu said confidently, look at your eyes. Sima Yue smiled and said nothing. Actually, they didn't have any deep hatred before, but those people always looked at her with killing intent. As long as one had a temper, they wouldn't like it when others wanted to kill them. Moreover, those people dared to covet her man. They must be tired of living. Then take me with you. I'll go protect you. Siyu said. Are you sure you're not here to cause trouble for me? How could that be? Do I look like a troublemaker to you? Yes. On the second day, Siyu still came along, but Wu Lingyu left at the last minute because the people from the Sage Pavilion came looking for him. Before he left, he said to her, do whatever you want. Nothing will happen. What did you do? It's nothing. I just wanted to go in with you. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she realized what he was talking about. Can I? Why not? Likes you a lot too. Wu Lingyu said, I don't know what it's like inside. I can only be at ease with it around. Okay. Sima Yue did not refuse. It would be safer with Sima Yue around since it was her first time going in. After Wu Lingyu left, she went to look for Yang Shi and the others with Siyu who stuck to her. Unexpectedly, she saw them on the way. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you for a while. Li Yao said with a smile. I woke up a little late. How long have you been waiting? Sima Yue casually found an excuse. Woke up late? The three of them pursed their lips. Can't you at least find a better excuse? Would a spirit master be unable to get up? They suppressed the anger in their hearts and said with a smile, Not too long. Just the two of you? Isn't His Highness the Holy Sun with you? He had some matters to attend to, so he went back to the sage pavilion. Sima Yue said. Li Yao couldn't tell if she was disappointed or secretly delighted. She had thought that she would be able to see him today, but he had left. She was secretly glad that if he wasn't around, there wouldn't be any risk of him finding out. Since we're all here, let's go, Yang, she said. Don't you have any guards? Sima Yue looked at the three of them and asked. No need. We're just going to the edge. Nothing will happen. Naturally, we don't need to bring guards. Yang, she glanced at her. What she meant was, look, I already said that it's dangerous. I didn't lie to you. Then do they know that we're in the desert? Siyu asked. No. How could they let many people know that they were going to kill someone? Especially not to let Yin Lang know. Siyu's eyes turned and asked, if we're in any danger, won't no one come to save us? Yes. Yang, she nodded, but if we go, what danger will there be? Naturally, we won't joke around with our lives. I believe in that. Siyu nodded. They were all stronger than Yue. If they really met with anything, they would definitely run faster. Then let's go. Sima Yue urged. She really didn't want to be with these fake ladies. Yes, if we don't go now, it'll be late. When we enter the desert, we won't even be able to tell the direction. Siyu urged. We asked some questions before, so we have some understanding of this place. Come with us. After Yang she finished speaking, she didn't use her flying beast and directly flew towards the desert. Sima Yue's lips curled into a cold smile. If the distance was short, it wouldn't be a problem to use spiritual power. But if the distance was long, the consumption of spiritual power couldn't be ignored. If they really met with danger, their spiritual power would be almost depleted. They probably thought that she was the weakest and had the least amount of spiritual power. It was a pity that her pool of spiritual power was much bigger than other people's. She didn't care about this bit of consumption. They said that they were at the edge of the desert, but they used their spiritual power to fly for close to a day. They only found an oasis late at night to rest. While setting up the tent, Siyu whispered into Sima Yue's ear, Yue, did you notice that we've been flying along the edge of the desert and haven't entered the desert at all? The situation in the desert is uncertain. They don't dare to. Sima Yue said. Then when do they plan to make a move? They don't have much patience. I think it'll be tonight. Sima Yue said. Then let's be more alert. Okay. After setting up the tent, Yang Shi and the others came over and told them about how they felt today. Then they let them rest early and said that they still had to hurry on with their journey tomorrow morning. In the middle of the night, Siyu suddenly ran in from outside and said, Yue, those three girls are gone. Also, we've been surrounded by spirit beasts. Sima Yue sat up on the bed and said, There's no rush. No rush? Siyu shouted, Do you know how many spirit beasts there are outside? Isn't it just 1,000 or so? It's fine. Siyu saw that Sima Yue was so calm and the corners of her mouth twitched. Was 1,000 or so too little? Don't worry, those spirit beasts won't be able to enter. Sima Yue said calmly. You're so sure? You don't believe me? Come with me. Sima Yue put on her shoes and brought her out of the tent. Siyu went out and saw those spirit beasts rushing towards them. Just as they were about to step onto the oasis, blue ripples appeared on the oasis. This is a barrier? That's right. Can this barrier block the attacks of so many spirit beasts? Siyu was not confident. They won't attack. Sima Yue said. Really? You just have to watch. Siyu looked at those spirit beasts suspiciously, thinking about what to do if they attacked. But she didn't expect that those spirit beasts would really be like what she said. They just walked around outside the barrier and left. She didn't find it strange if one or two of them were like that. But for almost 1,000 of them to be like that, she was so shocked that she couldn't close her mouth. What's going on? She grabbed onto Sima Yue excitedly. These spirit beasts came because those people scattered things on their oasis to attract spirit beasts. They don't dare to come in because there's an aura that they're more afraid of. Sima Yue said. An aura that they're more afraid of? Is it on the barrier? I remember that your senior brother's barrier is blue, right? Could it be that he's here too? Chapter 1486. Didn't Wu Lingyu leave? Could it be that he had secretly followed them? Siyu looked left and right, but she couldn't find any traces of Wu Lingyu. Lingyu didn't come, Sima Yue said. But he gave this to me. He knew that we would encounter this situation? Yes. He said that this was the kind of situation one would encounter in the desert. With the intelligence of those people, they couldn't think of any good ideas. That's why he gave me this. Sima Yue explained. Then how did he get those spirit beasts to return on their own? That's his problem. I just want this thing to work. Sima Yue did not intend to tell her that the magical beast's aura had been added to the barrier. How could an ordinary spirit beast withstand that ancient aura? All right. Those 3 people are gone. Only then did Siyu remember Yang Shi and the others. Seriously, I was clearly guarding against them. How did they run away so quietly? I don't know where he is now. Don't worry, they won't go far. Sima Yue said. Did you do something to them? Siyu looked at her expectantly. Of course it's good stuff. Let's go. There will be many spirit beasts coming and going tonight. We don't have to worry about them. Sima Yue turned and entered the tent. Hey Yue, tell me, what did you do to them? Siyu chased after her into the tent. Sima Yue lay back on the bed and said, actually it's nothing. Didn't they come looking for us before? Yeah, but I didn't see you do anything to them. Siyu tried her best to recall what happened, but she couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Ever since they came in, she hadn't done anything. She hadn't even moved her hand. What could she do to them? There is a smell that we can't smell at the time, but after a few hours, when it starts to take effect, there will be a faint plum blossom fragrance. Smell it now. Siyu sniffed hard and said, there really is a smell of plum blossoms. So you've already poisoned the room? It's not really a poison. It will only attract some spirit beast to go into heat. It will disappear after a day or 2. Sima Yue said. Siyu pursed her lips. Who didn't know that animals in heat were the most irrational? As long as they didn't cooperate with them, they would definitely go crazy and attack people. But how could they possibly cooperate? So, this guy had dug a hole for them to jump into. That thing of yours, is it strong? If the spirit beast that comes isn't powerful, then wouldn't it be useless? You don't have to worry about this when I'm handling things. Sima Yue closed her eyes. Go to sleep. We'll see the results tomorrow. Siyu knew that she wouldn't be able to get anything out of him, so she returned to her tent and waited for the next day to check on the results. Sima Yue slept well that night. When she opened her eyes again, the sky was already bright. After she was done washing up, she kept her things and went out to see Siyu standing at the edge of the oasis, looking at the messy footprints outside. She had already packed her things. When she heard the commotion behind her, she turned around and smiled. Morning. How's the situation? Sima Yue kept her tent and walked over to ask. I don't know how many came, but there were fewer in the latter half of the night. Siyu said. There aren't any more spirit beasts coming now. The smell in the oasis has mostly dissipated. Take the antidote and we can go and see the results. Sima Yue handed her a pill. Siyu took the pill. Sima Yue called out Xiao He and let him lead the way in the direction that Yang Shi and the rest left. The 2 of them chased for a few hundred kilometers before they saw the 3 corpses. Their clothes didn't even cover their bodies. It was a horrible sight. Were they defiled? Siyu pursed her lips. No. Sima Yue checked the corpses. They died in between. Spirit beasts aren't interested in dead people. But it's still tragic. When they escaped from the oasis, they definitely didn't expect to end up like this. Siyu sighed. They're probably overjoyed. I can only say that one shouldn't have the heart to harm others. Life is full of ups and downs. If you're not careful, it'll turn to you. That's true. Siyu agreed. In this world, although it was filled with killing, one couldn't always be on guard against the killing intent of others. But for himself, not provoking others was also a necessary condition to live a long life. Let's go. Leave their corpses here? Yes. Sima Yue didn't touch their corpses. Leave them here for a few days. I think someone will come to investigate. We just have to erase all traces of our existence. Okay. They erased all traces of their existence. In addition, they had already erased all traces before they left the oasis. Even if they saw Yang Shi and the other 2's corpses, they wouldn't be able to link them to them. Yang Shi, Li Yao and Fang Qi were all talented juniors in the family. The moment their lives ended, everyone in the family knew. Who killed Xie? Yang Shi's father, Yang Gaoming, almost broke down when he heard the news. Master, don't worry. Go and ask father. He left a soul imprint on Xie's body. Yang Shi's mother reminded. Yes. Go and find father. Yang Gaoming hurriedly ran to his father's courtyard. Father, is it true that Shi has already? My soul imprint has disappeared. She is indeed dead. Yang Wei was also very angry. Father, didn't you leave a soul imprint on Shi's body? Even you can't protect her? I don't know why they entered the desert without permission. I only saw her and 2 other girls in the vast desert, surrounded by hundreds of spirit beasts. Takagon Desert? Since they went there, why didn't the family follow them? No, I have to go and take a look. Yang Shi's mother said as she ran out. I'll go too. Let's go together. We can also go and see what the ancient mine looks like. At the same time, the Fang and Li family sent people to rush over. They swore to find out the truth behind their deaths. Sima Yue and the others didn't know about the shock that Yang Shi and the others' deaths brought to the 3 families. After flying for a day and a night, the 2 of them and the dog were in the vast desert, looking around blankly. We're lost. Siyu looked at Sima Yue. She had previously joked that the 2 of them should just go in directly, but now she couldn't laugh. If they were really lost in this desert, it would definitely be a very dangerous thing. Sima Yue looked around and finally sighed, saying, we clearly walked in the direction we came from, but obviously we are really lost. Then we can't be close to the ancient mine, right? Siyu cried out. Chapter 1487. Sima Yue could not give an answer to this question. How strange. We're clearly walking in the direction we came from, but why do I feel like we're walking deeper and deeper? Siyu said doubtfully. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the direction of the sun. She thought for a while and said, I think I know the reason. What? The oasis where we set up camp quietly changed direction at night. Sima Yue said, when we left, we went out the same way we came in. We thought that was the exit. We've been going straight, but it feels like we're going deeper and deeper. This is quite likely. Either that, or the space here has a folding property. It was just like the folded space he had encountered in the Immortal Land. Other than these 2 reasons, she couldn't think of any other reason. Then should we go back? Going back might not be the same way we came, Sima Yue said. We've been walking for a day and a night, so we might be heading in the wrong direction. Don't worry, let me do an experiment first. What experiment? You'll know when you see it. Let's find an oasis first. Half a day later, they found an oasis. Siyu set up a tent at the side and Sima Yue took out something that looked like a dart. After injecting spiritual energy into it, it actually floated in the air. Then she took out 3 small flags of different colors and stuck them into the ground. The one in the middle was facing the thing in the air. We can use this to confirm if the direction has changed. Siyu said in understanding. Alright, we'll know the results tomorrow. Let's go back and rest. Sima Yue clapped her hands and said. On the morning of the 2nd day, Sima Yue heard Siyu shouting in her tent. Yue really moved. Sima Yue went out and saw that the flag facing the dart had moved to the side. The dart was between it and another small flag. Sima Yue stepped forward and kept the flag. She raised her hand and the dart landed in her hand. It seems that my guess is correct. This is only the result of one night. It must have been moving during the day as well. Her expression was solemn as she looked at the vast desert outside the oasis. No wonder so many people came in and never came out. Because no matter which direction he went, it might not be the right one. We can't feel any changes because we're already on the ground. Siyu said, that means we can't get out either. No. For others, they might not be able to leave. But we don't have to worry about this problem. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she called out a few thousand scarlet bees and ordered them to fly in all directions. There would always be scarlet bees that could find it. Siyu looked at the densely packed scarlet bees and touched her arm. She was sure that she had goosebumps. You're really something. With them, all we need to do is wait here. Yes. Sima Yue said, they will probably take some time to get out. Let's just wait here for news. This is good, but unfortunately it's too hot. It's a little uncomfortable. Siyu went back to the tent and changed into a fresh set of clothes. When she came out, she saw Sima Yue preparing food again. After a while, a bowl of cold and delicious fruit salad was placed in front of her. Half of it was filled with ice cubes. Wow. I was just saying that I lost my appetite because of the heat. I didn't expect you to make this. Siyu was pleasantly surprised as she hugged the plate and ate. You're a dark spiritual master and the dark spiritual energy in your body is of the cold attribute. That's why you'll feel uncomfortable in this hot desert. Sima Yue said, although this can't cure the root of the problem, it can still help to relieve the heat temporarily. Yes, it's delicious. Thank you, Yue. Siyu looked at her gratefully. She was the one who protected her in Ghost City. Now she was the one who took care of her. This friend of hers was really the right one. They waited in the oasis for 4 days before the Scarlet Bees came back with news. This time, Sima Yue didn't use her spiritual energy. Instead, she let Chongming and Little Rock take turns and fly out of the desert day and night. When they returned to the campsite, Siyu's guards ran over first. Miss, where did you go? Your subordinates were so worried. I just went for a walk with Yue. What are you all so worried about? Siyu waved at them. She didn't like them watching her so closely. They're worried about you. Si Hui and Si came out of the tent. Second brother, third brother? Why are you guys here? Siyu looked at them and smiled as she held their arms. Did you guys also want to see what the human realm is like? They couldn't find you, so they informed Father. Father told us to come and see you. Si Hui said, you've only been out for a short while and you've already caused such a ruckus. You guys came too quickly. Siyu stuck out her tongue. Sima Yue was surprised to see them. It seemed like Ghost City had a special way of coming here. Second brother, third brother. She bowed to them. We were actually quite worried about Lil, sis. When we heard that she went out with you, we waited here for you guys to come back. Siyu said. His words were full of trust. What? I'm clearly stronger than Yue. Why do you say it as if I'm the one who's stronger? Siyu pouted and protested like a child. I've always been worried about you, said Ce as he tickled her nose. Although Sima Yue wasn't very strong, she was very calm and careful. Otherwise, she wouldn't have caused such a huge commotion in Ghost City. As for her, her strength was higher than Yu's, but her personality was careless and impatient. It really made people feel uneasy. Wu Lingyu came out of the tent. Sima Yue saw him and walked over with a smile. Why are you back so quickly? I heard that you guys went missing, so I rushed back. Wu Lingyu said, what happened? I did find out some secrets about the desert. I'll tell you when we get in. Perhaps Sima Yue's expression was too serious. Si Hui and the rest also became serious. Did they really experience something in the past few days? They entered the tent and Sima Yue told them about her experience in the desert. After listening to her, they all frowned. The oasis could actually change directions? Was it only the oasis, or was it the case for the entire desert? Those people who went in to scout probably couldn't come out because of this. Si Hui said, luckily you were here this time. Otherwise Lil, sis wouldn't have been able to come out. Third brother, you're too kind. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have been in such danger. However, we managed to find out some things about the desert. It's a good thing. Sima Yue smiled. Now we have to solve the problem of direction first. If we can't solve it, it'll be too dangerous to go in. Chapter 1488. For the next few days, Sima Yue and the rest stayed at the campsite and did not enter the desert again. He still had some lingering fears about what had happened last time. On this day, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu went out for a stroll. There was a hillside not far from their campsite. They watched the desert sunset from the hillside. The scenery was beautiful. You only went back to the Sage Pavilion the last time. Is it alright if you don't go back now? The person in command over there is one of the deputy pavilion lords, Miao Hoshin. I have never gotten along with him. He was very unhappy that I had suddenly become the Holy Sun. So there's no need for me to show my face there. Wu Lingyu hugged her waist and sat down. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the two of them, making them feel peaceful and warm. Sima Yue leaned in his arms and looked at the reddish-yellow sand under the setting sun. Looking at it this way, this desert is really beautiful. But now no one dares to take a step closer. She sighed. Last time, if not for the fact that she had so many scarlet bees, she would definitely have been trapped inside and died. In such a place, it was really not easy to find the ancient mining area. The scenery was as beautiful as a painting, but inside, every step was filled with danger. We just need to figure out the pattern here, Wu Lingyu said. That's easier said than done. The desert is so big, any slight movement could change the situation. Sima Yue had thought of this idea before, but she gave up in the end. Because this project was too big, she might not be able to figure out the pattern even if she spent a few decades. That's true. Wu Lingyu said, do you trust me? Sima Yue looked up at him. Why did he suddenly ask this? If I take you in, will you believe me? Wu Lingyu asked. In the depths of the desert, your scarlet bees might not be able to find the source. They might all die before they even reach the edge of the desert. Under such circumstances, do you still dare to follow me in? He lowered his head, and their gazes were glued together. Sima Yue laughed. Why wouldn't I dare? At most, he would be trapped inside. With the spirit pagoda, there was no need to worry about the lack of water inside. As long as there is no shortage of water, we will always come out. As long as you're here, it doesn't matter where we are. Are you going to marry a prostitute? Wu Lingyu smiled and kissed her gently on the lips. Are you Jay? It's just a metaphor. Don't be so picky. That's not a word. That's the literal meaning. Don't be naughty. I didn't. When they returned to the camp, they realized that something was wrong with indignation. Their tent was surrounded by 3 layers of people, inside and outside. The two of them looked at each other and quickly ran over. I've already said that your daughter's disappearance has nothing to do with my Yue. Don't pin everything on us. Siyu's angry voice came from inside. If it has nothing to do with her, does that mean it has something to do with you? I heard that you had a fight with them the day before they disappeared. You must have killed them in revenge. A woman angrily accused. TSK kill them? If it wasn't for Yue, they would have been killed the day before. It's a pity that Yue came and stopped our fight. Siyu scoffed. It's really you. The woman shouted and was about to hit Siyu when Sihui grabbed her arm. I don't care who you are. If you dare to touch a hair on my little sister, I'll destroy you. With that, he flung her arm away and threw her to the side. Yang Shi's mother, Wei Shuezhu, looked at his gaze and shuddered. This person's gaze was so scary. Humph, old woman, I was polite to you just now because Yang Shi and Yue know each other. You're Yang Shi's mother. Don't think that we'll be afraid of you just because you brought so many people here. Siyu shouted. The news of Yang Shi and the rest's disappearance has been spread around the camp. They must have run to the desert by themselves. They're looking for death. What do you mean by a mad dog biting people here? Do you think that everyone will be afraid of you just because you're from the 16th state? There are some people you can provoke and some people you can't. Sima Yue listened from outside and the corners of her lips curled up. She was indeed from Ghost City. Her words were so domineering. If she was worried that Siyu would get into trouble outside before, she wasn't worried at all after Si Hui and the rest arrived. If they could rush over so quickly, then the others in Ghost City could do the same. Even if Siyu messed up the heavens outside, they would definitely rush over to make up for it. What's going on? Wei Shuezhu was about to retaliate when she heard a light voice from outside. The guards outside moved aside and Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked in. Yue, you're back. Siyu waved at her. What's going on? This is? Sima Yue walked over and asked again. Oh, she's Yang Shi's mother. She couldn't find her daughter and came to us to ask for her. Siyu said, she's being unreasonable. Everyone knows that they ran to the desert and died. Why did she come to us to ask for her? Looking for Yang Shi? Sima Yue's face flashed with surprise. She wasn't with us. Why would she come here to look for them? Stop playing dumb. Someone said that you guys disappeared at the same time. If you didn't leave with them, then what did you do? I think you've misunderstood. Siyu and I just went for a walk nearby. She didn't want the guards to follow us, so we left quietly. However, we came back a few days later. Sima Yue said. Just like what Siyu said, everyone knows that they went to the desert. If we went into the desert, would we be able to come out? It seems that those who went in never came out. Who would believe your nonsense? Wei Shuezhu scoffed. Don't be so shameless. If you continue to be unreasonable, don't blame us for being impolite. Siyu shouted. Impolite? How are you going to be impolite? A bunch of dark spirit masters dare to be impudent on the mainland. Just as Wei Shuezhu finished speaking, she was surrounded by a cold aura and felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. Following that, her internal organs felt as if they had been displaced. Following that, she was flung away and landed heavily on the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood. My Ghost City's people have no place for you to talk nonsense. Siyu was more direct than Sihui. This domineering attack made Wei Shuezhu unable to resist at all. Sima Yue stared at Siyi in shock. She didn't even see how he attacked and this person was already heavily injured. Siyu saw her shocked expression and smiled. Second brother is the strongest out of all of us. He has the bloodline of that side. Sima Yue was stunned. That side? Ghost Clan. Chapter 1489. Compared to her contemplation, Wei Shueju was rather shocked. Ghost City? Wasn't that a legendary place? Although it was a legendary place, people at their level knew that if they met people from Ghost City, they must not provoke them. Madam. The guards quickly surrounded her and were about to attack Ce. Stop. Wei Shueju quickly stopped them. How could they dare to provoke the people of Ghost City? Madam? The guard turned around in surprise. This didn't seem like Madam's style. She was injured, but she had to swallow her anger? This was too inconceivable. Wei Shueju crawled up from the ground and looked at them warily. Seeing that they had no intention of making a move, she ordered the people around her, "Let's go." Although the guards were very surprised, they still obeyed her orders and left with her. It seems like these people know about Ghost City. Sima Yue said confidently. We can't be sure if the others know. But that woman knows, Wu Lingyu said. With their status, they will know a lot of things that others don't. You're right. But second brother, won't Ghost City be exposed if you do this? Sima Yue asked. If it's exposed, then so be it. Ghost City isn't a shameful place. Ce didn't care. We just haven't been in contact with the outside world. It's not that we're afraid of the outside world. That place was not a place that anyone could go. People like you are still very rare. Not everyone is trapped in Ghost City by Kuan. Sima Yue laughed. Now Yangshi's matter can be considered resolved. We can be quiet for a while. Ciyu giggled. Next, let's think of a way to solve this problem. In the following days the Yang clan really didn't come again. The Fang clan and the Li clan didn't even show up. Ever since Wu Lingyu said those words last time, he had never mentioned anything about going in again. He even disappeared from time to time. Yue. Ciyu ran in from outside and saw Sima Yue reading a book. She ran over with a grin and sat beside her. She picked up the tea on the table and took a sip. What's wrong? Why are you in such a hurry? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at her. Yang Shi and the others' bodies have been found. Ciyu said after finishing her cup of tea. You found it? Sima Yue was a little surprised. It seemed like the Yang family was quite capable to be able to find it. Yeah, I heard that only bones are left. Ciyu said. Did they say anything? Sima Yue asked. What else can I say? In the end, it was said that Yang Shi and the others had run inside and encountered a spirit beast. They were no match for it and were killed. It has nothing to do with us. Ciyu laughed very happily. Let me tell you, the funniest thing is that their bones are all scattered into pieces, and you can't tell who belongs to who. It's such a pity that someone can still collect his corpse after such a long time, Sima Yue said with a faint smile. Why didn't they get lost when they went in? Ciyu had always been curious about this. When we went in, most of the time we walked around the edges, so we didn't go very deep. Later on we got lost because we walked in the wrong direction. As for them, as long as they find Yang Shi and the others' bodies, they won't get lost if they walk in the opposite direction. Sima Yue said. So as long as they know the direction, they won't get lost. Ciyu said, if we go in and know the direction, we might not get lost. It's a pity that all the guiding spirit tools can't be used in there. Sima Yue and the others had tried before. When they took out their compasses, the needle would spin non-stop and they couldn't guide the way at all. There will be a solution. Sima Yue said. Yeah. I believe that you'll think of a solution too. I'll go out and scout again. If there's any news, I'll tell you immediately. All right. Go on. Ever since the news of Ciyu and the others coming from Ghost City spread, all the powerhouses restrained their people from provoking them. No matter where Ciyu went now, she didn't have to worry about anyone messing with her. So she didn't have to worry about her safety at all. Ciyu went out again. Sima Yue lowered her head and wanted to continue reading, but she couldn't calm down. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, if you weren't strong enough, you would only be bullied. When Wei Shueju came that day, it was obvious that she wanted to find someone to vent her anger on. Although everyone knew that she didn't seem to have anything to do with this matter, but because she was weak, she wanted to use her as a punching bag. That day, if it wasn't for Ce and the others blocking in front of her, it would have been difficult for her to solve this matter. So, she had to increase her own strength. Thinking of this, she felt a sense of urgency towards the ancient mining area. If she could get some of it, she could also increase her own strength. However, she had to find a solution first. One day later, Wu Lingyu came back and brought Sima Yue out of the tent quietly. What's wrong? Sima Yue saw his secretive look and asked. Let's go in. Wu Lingyu said. To the desert? Sima Yue was slightly surprised. He hadn't mentioned it for half a month since the last time. Why did he suddenly want to bring her in now? Yeah. You're not going to tell them? The situation inside is uncertain. I'm confident that I can bring you in, but there are too many of them. If I can't take care of them all, you'll be sad if they die. Wu Lingyu said. I'll leave them a message. When Siyu found out, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were already in the desert. Even if they followed them now, they wouldn't be able to catch up. This fellow dares to tell me not to go in no matter what. When I see her again, I'll skin her alive. Siyu roared. Ce and Si Hui felt that Sima Yue's attitude was quite good. No matter what was in the ancient mining area, it had nothing to do with dark spiritual masters. They couldn't use anything that wasn't of the dark attribute. So, there wasn't much point in them going into the desert. If it was too dangerous and meaningless, it was best not to get involved. Previously, when Siyu wanted to go, they could only accompany her. Now that she couldn't go, they could heave a sigh of relief. Don't be angry. Didn't she leave you a temporary life jade? As long as it's not broken, it means that she's safe. Don't worry. Si Hui said. Who said I'm worried? I'm just unhappy that she didn't bring me along. Siyu shouted, that fellow, don't let me see her again. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. That fellow must be scolding me, saying that I didn't bring her along to play. I say you did it on purpose, right? Chapter 1490. On purpose? Wu Lingyu asked, even though she already knew the answer. With your abilities, there's no way you can't protect them. You just don't want them to be with us. Am I right? Sima Yue finally reacted. Wu Lingyu chuckled and did not deny it. He just didn't like seeing Siyu sticking to her all day, causing him to not have much time to be alone with her. Plus, there was no point for them to follow, so they might as well wait outside. The thought of being alone for such a long time made him very happy. Thinking back to the time before their souls had fused, his soul could still be with her all day long. He could feel her feelings and see her all the time. On the contrary, after the fusion, he spent less time with her. Now, they could finally spend some time together without those random people around. However, his happy mood did not last for a day before it cracked. They had just set up their tents at the oasis. Because of a certain someone's gaze, she could only set up one tent. At the same time, she muttered in her heart, acting cute is shameful. Where was her cold and aloof devil king? She prepared an iced fruit salad for him and ate one for herself. At this moment, a group of flying beasts flew over. Sima Yue looked up and saw the person sitting in the middle. Why is he here? Wu Lingyu's tone was very unfriendly. They must be here for the ancient mine. Sima Yue was certain. There are so many oases out there. Why did he choose to come here? Wu Lingyu turned to the side with a sour expression. The man in the wheelchair was surprised to see Sima Yue. He smiled and said, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you here. What a coincidence. Sima Yue smiled and nodded at him. Young master will go set up the tent first. The guard behind Xianqiu he said. Go on, Xianqiu he nodded at them, then said to Sima Yue, have you guys been here for a long time? They arrived in the evening, Sima Yue said. The last time we parted in the immortal land, it has only been 20 years. I didn't expect your strength to have increased so much. Xianqiu he discovered her strength and exclaimed in his heart. Sima Yue was shocked. She had the spirit pagoda as a disguise. Normal people wouldn't be able to see her strength, but this Xianqiu he could see it immediately. Was it because his strength was too high or was there some other reason? You don't have to be nervous. I don't mean any harm. Xianqiu he smiled. That smile was still as warm as before. Sima Yue nodded in acknowledgement of his goodwill and said, congratulations, you have successfully digested the inheritance. How did you know? Your aura is even more ethereal than the last time we met. If you hadn't deliberately released your aura, I think they would have thought that you were about to become an immortal. This should be the result of digesting the inheritance, Sima Yue replied. Hehe, you are still so smart. Xianqiu he said. You were almost done eating. We should go in. Wu Lingyu didn't like her smiling at Xianqiu he and pulled her hand to enter the tent. This is. Xianqiu he felt the two of them holding hands and his voice paused for a moment. I am her future husband. Wu Lingyu said. Is that so? Although Xianqiu he was still smiling, his smile had unknowingly faded. Yes. Sima Yue said. He is Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu? So you are the holy son of the sage pavilion. Sorry for the disrespect. Well said, well said. Wu Lingyu's expression was indifferent. Although this Xianqiu he couldn't see, he definitely knew her. Now he was pretending not to know her and saying those polite words to strike up a conversation with her. Didn't you say that you were tired? Let's go in and rest? Wu Lingyu pulled Sima Yue's hand. Okay. Sima Yue obviously knew what he was thinking. She said a few words to Xianqiu he and followed him in. Although Xianqiu he couldn't see, his divine sense could completely replace his eyes. He could sketch out the surrounding situation in his mind. He watched the two of them enter the tent, watched him holding her hand, watched her gentleness. Young master, the tent is set up. It's already very late. Go back and rest. The guard came to his side and pushed him back to his tent. On the morning of the second day, Sima Yue and the rest tidied up the tent. Xianqiu he pushed the wheelchair over and said, "This desert is strange and dangerous. Since everyone has met, why don't we go together?" I'm afraid that's not good? Sima Yue declined. What's not good about that? Since everyone is going to the ancient mines, our destination is the same. Since that's the case, let's go together. We can take care of each other. Xianqiu he said. If anything really happens, I'm afraid that we will drag you down. Sima Yue smiled. The deeper we go, the more dangerous it will be. Xianqiu he said, Xianqiu clan's ancestors have done some research on this desert, so they have a rough understanding of the situation here. What he meant was that they knew the location of the ancient mines. Sima Yue looked at Xianqiu he in surprise. She didn't think that Xianqiu clan had already done some research on this place. Did they already know that there were treasures here? You don't have to be so surprised. Other than our Xianqiu clan, some other clans have also done some research on this place. Xianqiu he said, for example, some other hidden clans. What? Sima Yue was curious. This place wasn't very popular before. Why would those hidden clans start to research on this desert so early? I didn't know the reason in the past. I only knew that it was passed down from our ancestors. Now I understand. The research in the past might have been done to prepare for today's matter. Sima Yue understood. These hidden clans must have received some news, so they spent a lot of time and effort to research this desert. Maybe it was a direct reminder that there was an ancient mine here, or maybe it was passed down by their ancestors that there were treasures here. We know where there are powerful spirit beasts. We have also guessed the approximate location of the ancient mine. How about it, are you willing to travel with us? Xianqiu he invited them again. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment. With them around, she and Wu Lingyu would be able to save a lot of trouble. The most important thing was that he knew the approximate location of the mine, but they didn't. Why do you want to bring us along? She was still a little uncertain. Normally they would hope that fewer people would go in, right? We are friends. We met here. What reason do I need to invite you along? Xianqiu he smiled. Then I'll have to bother you. This meant that they agreed to join. Wu Lingyu stared at Xianqiu he's face. One who was unaccountably solicitous was hiding evil intentions. Chapter 1491. After walking for a few days, Sima Yue believed what Xianqiu he said. Their family had done some research on this place. Because they had been walking for so long, they had only met a few spirit beasts and none of them were very powerful. Late at night, they found an oasis and stopped to rest. In this desert, if there wasn't an oasis, one shouldn't stop to rest because if one rested in the yellow sand, one wouldn't know when the yellow sand would quietly swallow them up. There were traces of a camp on the oasis. Looks like someone beat us to it. Xianqiu he pushed the wheelchair to the place where they had set up camp. With a wave of his hand, a wooden nail used to set up camp flew into his hand. He sniffed and said, "It's the Eastern Lai clan. They actually arrived before us." A middle-aged man who followed Xianqiu he said in surprise. There's nothing strange about that. Xianqiu he threw away the wooden nail and took out a silk handkerchief to wipe his hands. The Eastern Lai clan has always been more concerned about this. After learning about what had happened here, he would definitely come here enthusiastically. I just don't know if she's here. Miss Eastern Lai? Yes. If she comes, this matter will be troublesome. Xianqiu he said. Is Miss Eastern Lai that powerful? She is blessed with these conditions. Xianqiu he said. Then should we speed up and get ahead of them? No need. Xianqiu he did not panic. The person who goes first might not get anything. We're not in a hurry. We'll just follow our previous plan. If we're in a hurry, we might encounter greater danger. Tell everyone to rest. Yes, young master. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked over. Xianqiu he, is the Donglai clan also a hidden clan? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Our family has been friends for generations. Xianqiu, he said. You said that Eastern Lai Li is blessed by the heavens in this aspect. What is it? Sima Yue was curious. How powerful was that woman to be valued by Xianqiu he? Have you seen a natural seeker spirit master? Natural seeker spirit master? Sima Yue was surprised. This was the first time she had heard of this. Yes. When she was 5 years old, she could already sense ores. As she grew older and stronger, her senses in this area became even more sensitive. Later on, with the addition of her studies, her success rate in this area is more than 90%. Sima Yue was shocked. The success rate was more than 90%. If she did not have Spirit Seeker, she would have fainted after hearing this number. Such a person was indeed worthy of being Xianqiu He's opponent. If they entered the mining area with her around, the ores would be the same as picking up rocks from the ground. Xianqiu He said. Then why aren't you anxious? Xianqiu He smiled. What's the hurry? It wouldn't be easy to get in. Moreover, the truly good things belong to the fated person. This is preordained by the heavens. Destined by the heavens? Sima Yue was stunned. She did not expect him to have such thoughts. Compared to fate, she believed that human effort was the key to success. Xianqiu He seemed to know what she was thinking and said, Do you think that all your opportunities are man-made? Was it? Sima Yue knew that the answer was no. If it was man-made, how could she have such good opportunities? She once heard Yin Lin and the rest say that luck was a mysterious thing. She did not know if her luck was the best, but it was extremely good. Correspondingly, she would take on some responsibilities that others did not have. For example, in Fair Eastern City, she stopped the Ghost Clan's footsteps and prevented the humans' catastrophe. And because of this, she was hated by many powers in the Ghost Clan. This would bring her a lot of trouble when she went to the Ghost Clan in the future. This was the karma that she had to bear. Understanding this, she smiled. If that's the case, I might be able to get a share of the pie. Whether it's a share of the pie or a share of the pie, nobody knows until the end. Sima Yue looked at him and felt that there was a hidden meaning in his words. But he did not say anything else. When she returned to her own tent, she was still thinking about this. Wu Lingyu hugged her shoulder and said, Don't you have a saying there, if it's destined, it will be there. If it's not destined, don't force it. There's no use thinking so much now. I'm not thinking about what I can get. I just feel that Xianqiu He's words are a little weird, as if he was pointing at something. Sima Yue said. He's so weird, what's so weird about his words? Wu Lingyu was unhappy that she was still thinking about him. How is he weird? Sima Yue glared at him. This vinegar jar. As long as she looked at a man more than twice, he would feel that the other party was not good. I'm not making up stories about him. The aura on his body is really weird. Really? Why can't I feel it? Sima Yue did not believe him. That's because you're too weak. Sima Yue ignored him. From the first day they met in the Spirit Pagoda, this guy had been looking down on her strength. How could they have a good chat like this? Wu Lingyu did not continue this topic. He said that Xianqiu He was weird not because he did not like him, but because he really felt that something was wrong. He clearly looked more holy than him, the Holy Son, but he felt a tinge of evil in his holiness. This made him feel very awkward. However, it was just as he said. People with low strength would not be able to tell at all. Then about the godly medicine, do you plan to ask him? Sima Yue was stunned. He mentioned about the godly medicine last time. If rising from the ashes was not in the Xianqiu clan, the Xianqiu clan would know where it was. To ask or not to ask? Let's talk about it after this matter is over. She hesitated. It's not a good time to ask now. What do you think? If rising from the ashes is really in the Xianqiu clan, I'll heal his leg in exchange. If it's not in his house, then we'll think of other ways. Sima Yue said. Are you confident? I've seen him before. Although I know the reason, my ability is limited and I can't heal him. Now I'm half confident. That's not enough. The Xianqiu clan will not joke about his life. Wu Lingyu understood these clans very well. Sima Yue understood that if she could heal Xianqiu He, they would definitely be happy to see it. However, if she could not, then she would become a sinner of the clan. No, to be exact, if she was not confident, they would not let her do it. Because if a genius like Xianqiu He died, who would compensate for another Xianqiu He? Hence, they could not take this risk. Half confidence was not enough. She had to increase her own strength. Before that, she had to understand his current situation. Thus, that night, she ran over to open the door of someone's tent. Chapter 1492. The next morning when the Xianqiu clan saw Sima Yue walking out of Xianqiu's tent, their gazes were strange. First message of love, his young master couldn't move freely, so he didn't want her to do anything to him. After that, when they saw Xianqiu and his personal bodyguard coming out together, everyone then retracted their strange gazes. Even if she wanted to do something, the guards would not agree. Young master. Everyone looked at him with concern. Prepare to set off. Xianqiu did not intend to say much about what happened last night and instructed the steward this time. Yes. Xianqiu was one of the elders of the Xianqiu clan. As the manager of this operation, he was in charge of Xianqiu's safety and the miscellaneous matters along the way. He only listened to Xianqiu's orders. Go and tidy up the tents. Xianqiu instructed the guards. Elder Ji, young master, who asked you to dawdle? Is young master's matter something you can ask? Quickly pack your things. Xianqiu patted the guard's head and shouted. Elder Ji, aren't you curious? Curious about what? Xianqiu glared at that person. If you don't go, I'll throw you all into the desert. Those people were so scared that they hurriedly went to tear down the tents. Sima Yue pursed her lips when she heard the commotion. Isn't the thought process of this Xianqiu clan's guard a little too jumpy? Rape their young master? If she didn't say anything, they wouldn't do it. Wu Lingyu would be the first to chop her in half. She was just using the excuse that she had checked his body the last time and had wanted to treat him. Now she wanted to see how he was doing. Xianqiu let her check his body, and the guard beside him immediately asked her about the results. I still have to go back and do some research. Sima Yue did not say it out loud. If he said that he was confident but couldn't cure him, wouldn't that be giving him hope in vain? Xianqiu still had that smile on his face. No rush. Sima Yue saw how confident he was and knew that he was actually a little disappointed. Because he didn't have any hope, he didn't care about the final outcome. Looking at his unfocused eyes, she was even more determined to cure him. Wu Lingyu naturally noticed the situation over there, but he didn't say anything this time. When it came to serious matters, he was still clear. Those guards tidy up the tents very quickly, they called out their spirit beasts and they continued to advance. No matter how long they had to find an oasis. They had already You's. Base. Chiu clan, SS waters. She guessed that they must have something similar to the little realm to be able to keep the water flowing for so long. When Chiu Yue, they is to Chiu he. Sima Yu looked at the boundless oasis and saw that there were many towering trees. She thought that she had already left the desert and entered the forest. Xianqiu, he said. This was indeed an oasis. But because it was so big, people thought they had left the desert. This journey has been surprisingly smooth. Sima Yue sighed when they entered the forest. If it weren't for them, we would have had to put in a lot of effort to get here. Wu Lingyu said, this saves time and effort. Sima Yue looked at this guy. He could have brought her here too, it was just that they would have met with more trouble. Young master, there are traces of people walking in front. The guard who was scouting ahead ran back. Let's go and take a look. Xianqiu was in a wheelchair, but his speed wasn't slow. They quickly arrived at the place where the camp was. Young master, is it the Eastern Lai clan? Xianqiu asked. Xianqiu sniffed the things left behind and shook his head. No, it's the Northern Du clan. The Northern Du clan is here too? I heard that Northern Du Hao is leading the team this time. I don't think they're slow. Xianqiu said. Is the Northern Du clan a hidden clan? Sima Yue asked. Yes. And this Northern Du clan is slightly more powerful than the Xianqiu clan. Xianqiu replied. Is that Northern Du Hao from your generation? Yes, he's not much older than me, but he's much more powerful. Xianqiu said, like Eastern Lai Li, he's also a strong opponent. It seems that the people leading the team this time are from your generation. Sima Yue didn't know how many hidden clans they would meet, but she believed that there wouldn't be any power left behind. Although Xianqiu said that they were very powerful, there wasn't much worry on his face. It seemed that he had his own confidence. Just based on the fact that he could guess who was passing by with just a sniff, there wasn't anyone else who could do this, right? At least she couldn't do it. Yue, if we go in from here, we might encounter a lot of danger. It's best that you don't leave his side. Xianqiu warned. Sima Yue nodded. It wasn't easy for them to come here safely. Now that they were here, there would definitely be more danger. Wu Lingyu held her hand. They continued to walk forward. Someone had passed by before, so they didn't need to open up a path. When they walked into a small path with vines, she suddenly stopped in her tracks. What's wrong? There's danger here, Sima Yue said. What danger is here? Xianqiu clan's people sniffed and said, there's no smell of blood. Not long ago, Northern Du clan's people had passed by here. There was no smell of blood, which meant that they weren't attacked here. There were also no traces of battle around here. No, there's a smell of blood. It's just that it's been diluted by the smell of grass and trees. Sima Yue said, these vines should be alive. Everyone, before she could finish her sentence, many vines suddenly appeared around them and attacked them. Those vines were thick and hard. Sima Yue's sharp blade couldn't cut them. These are all old monsters. Wu Lingyu held her hand with one hand while spiritual energy flew out from his other hand. It was like a small knife, cutting all the vines around them. With his protection, Sima Yue didn't need to do anything. Alright, actually it was useless for her to do anything. It would probably only be useful if she called little birdie out. She observed for a while. The vines here weren't as thick as the ones in front. However, they could only spread out within a certain distance and couldn't reach here. There was an area plan. She couldn't help but sigh. If they walked in, they would definitely encounter stronger vines. It wouldn't be so easy for them to come out again. However, on these vines, she saw the arms of people who hadn't been digested. Luckily, they didn't go in. Chapter 1493. Xianqiu. He was protected in the middle by the guards and did not make a move. Ko *lu *yen *ching song *sent. Sima Yue did not think that he had the same reason as her. He probably did not want to fight with these guys. A truly powerful person wouldn't make a move so early. With those guards around, these dangers could be dealt with. However, plant-type spirit beasts were much more troublesome than animal-type spirit beasts because as long as their roots were not attacked, they would multiply. These vines were thicker than an arm. After being chopped off, the liquid that flowed out was blood red instead of green. Yeah, let me out. In the spirit pagoda, Hua shouted agitatedly. Hua, it's too dangerous outside. You're no match for them. Sima Yue knew how powerful Hua was. Although Hua was stronger than her, Hua was still much weaker than them. I didn't come out to fight. They're useful to me, Hua explained, sounding a little anxious. Sima Yue had no choice but to call her out. As for Little Seven and the others who were clamoring to come out, it was better for them to stay inside obediently. After the Hua came out, it saw the vines on the ground that had been cut into pieces and was extremely excited. It transformed into its true form, bloomed flowers and ate them all. When the vines saw her, they paused for a moment. It was as if they were suppressed by her bloodline, and their movements became much slower. The guards of the Xianqiu clan naturally felt this. Their hands moved even faster. Very quickly they had pulled out the roots of a few vines. Don't destroy it, give it to me. When the Hua saw that they were going to burn the roots, it shouted and stretched out a few flowers, snatched them from the ground and ate them. Seeing this, the guard did not say anything and turned to deal with the other enemies. Sima Yue was inside the protective circle that Wu Lingyu had set up. She watched as Floey went around snatching the vines to eat. She couldn't help but stretch forth a hand to rub her forehead. Fortunately, wherever she went, the vines would slow down and their attack power would be reduced. Therefore, the guard still welcomed her and even threw the chopped vines directly into her blooming flowers. Half an hour later, all the vines in their area had been uprooted and were all in Floey's stomach. Those who were further away didn't dare to move when they saw them, or more accurately, Hua. Hua transformed into her human form beside Sima Yue. She reached out to touch her stomach and burped inelegantly, saying, I'm so full. Young master, this place has already been cleaned up, there is no damage. Xianqiu said, should we retreat or continue forward? Let's move on. I think those in front won't dare to attack us so easily. Xianqiu said. Yes. They walked forward tentatively. If these vines attacked, they would immediately counterattack. Those vines tried to move, but in the end they gave up on attacking and let them pass safely. Sima Yue walked in the middle with Hua beside her. She looked at those vines and drooled. When they walked to the end of the path, they discovered the traces of battle. They were all hidden very well. If one did not look carefully, it would be hard to see. Looks like Northern Du clan attacked all the way here. However, they are definitely worse off than us. Xianqiu said. His Xianqiu clan started fighting at the beginning of the path. In addition to Hua's suppression, those at the back did not dare to attack. Northern Du clan was not so lucky. They only started fighting when they reached the middle. The vines there were more powerful. It was not easy to break through, not to mention fighting until the end. Thinking of this, Xianqiu could not help but smile. Why Xianqiu clan and Northern Du clan are not on good terms? Sima Yue asked curiously. She realized that after these people interacted with her, they would always answer her when she asked about unimportant things. So, along the way she knew many things about the hidden clans, especially about the other hidden clans. Yes. Xianqiu said, Northern Du clan is slightly stronger than us. Their Northern Du Hao is slightly more talented and once bullied young master. Bullied Xianqiu? Sima Yue looked at Xianqiu who was in a wheelchair and felt sorry for him. She could imagine, a person who could not walk with both legs and an arrogant and domineering genius. What would happen if they were together? This immortal-like man was bullied. Before they even met, she did not have a good impression of that so-called genius. Xianqiu still had a smile on his face. It's nothing. You're so good. The people who bullied you should not be good people. Sima Yue said, the kind of environment nurtures the kind of people. To be able to nurture someone like Northern Du Hao, this Northern Du clan was probably not a good clan. After they walked out of the range of the vines, Huahua pulled Sima Yue's clothes and looked up to ask, Yu, can I eat more? Weren't you full just now? She even burped. But I want to eat. Then you can eat it yourself. If you can beat them, I won't object. Sima Yue said. Huahua turned back and looked at the tempting food. After weighing the difference in their strength, she gave up in the end. Food was precious, but life was even more precious. Also at this time, it was better not to cause trouble for Yu. After they were far away, the vines let down their guard and heaved a long sigh of relief. Is it really that guy? It must be. Otherwise how could he eat them? Not everyone can eat them. Oh my god, it's too scary. I really did not expect that we would be able to see that guy again. Yes. She is not fully grown yet, but she can subtly suppress us. When she grows up, I think we will have to listen to her orders when we see her again. It's really scary. I hope we won't meet her again. They went in that direction. I don't know if they can survive. Why is it impossible? When has she ever died early after being born? There is a heavenly Tao. Sigh, I'm afraid that the days of being kings will come to an end. Fortunately, she did not say that she wants to eat us. It should be said that she is not fully grown yet, so she does not fully understand how powerful she is. If she wants us to sacrifice ourselves today, we would not dare to say a word. Fortunately. Really fortunate. I say, since she's finally been born, shouldn't we go and protect her? Seems like we should. Sima Yue and the rest walked far away and did not hear the discussion. Chapter 1494. Perhaps it was because the previous battle was too shocking, so in the next few days, although they had been walking in the forest, they did not encounter any attacks. Ku *lu *yen *ching song *sent. Those trees seemed to have no intelligence. Young master, it's a bit strange. Xianqiu said. Yes, a little. Xianqiu nodded. Tell everyone to be more alert. Along the way they found many traces of battle. They were not traces of humans fighting, which meant that the people in the forest were all dangerous. However, their journey had been too peaceful. Yes. Xianqiu and Xianqiu had the same thoughts. There was no such thing as peace for no reason. There must be a reason. Without knowing the reason, they had to be extra vigilant. Wu Lingyu glanced at Huahua. Sima Yue followed his gaze and looked at him in confusion. Does he think that all of this has something to do with Huahua? He was there when the contract with Huahua was formed. He knew the ins and outs of Huahua. Maybe I was wrong before, Wu Lingyu said. What? Huahua's identity. What's wrong with Huahua? Isn't she the man-eating flower queen? Sima Yue looked at the Huahua running around in the forest. She did not feel anything different. Perhaps she is the flower queen of the world. Wu Lingyu couldn't believe it either. She had seen her contract with Huahua, so she was very clear about her background. However, judging from this incident, this was not something a small man-eating flower king could do. As for the matter of eating those vines, generally no plant-type spirit beast would do that. Could it be that following Sima Yue caused its fate to change as well? Her advancement caused her contracted beasts to advance as well. When she transcended her tribulation, her beasts also indirectly transcended their tribulations. Sometimes he would even go through the tribulation with her. This caused their fate charts to deviate from their original path and possess an unknown fate. Perhaps this was the real reason. Wow. How did she level up? Sima Yue was a little stunned. Flower Queen of the World? Although she had never heard of this name before, it sounded awesome. Wu Lingyu told her his guess, then added, "It's not like it hasn't appeared before. However, from my previous life until now, it has never appeared. If that's the case, it's not bad too." Sima Yue's chin. The stronger the people around her. There was Crimson Flame who could command all the birds. If there was also Floey who could command all the plants, then it would be great. Don't be happy too early. Look at her, she hasn't evolved successfully yet. Wu Lingyu said, "She still has a long way to go to become the world's flower king. He needs to be nurtured properly." "There's a chance I can." Sima Yu said, "However, it still depends on her wishes." "Of course." "You can hand her over to me?" "If I hand her over to you, she'll probably become half a cripple." Sima Yu said, "Whether it's okay or not, I'll give her the conditions. The rest will depend on fate." "That's good too." Wu Lingyu did not insist. She had always thought things through clearly. Sima Yue's expression suddenly changed. She subconsciously looked into the distance. "What's wrong? Didn't I release a lot of scarlet bees when I entered the forest?" Sima Yue said, "I just received news that there are people fighting in front." "There should be more and more people coming now," Wu Lingyu said. What he meant was that it was normal to fight in places with people. After all, they were here to look for treasures. But the two parties fighting are Dong Lai clan and Northern Du clan. Sima Yue said, "Xian Qiuhe and Dong Lai clan seem to have a good relationship." "If you want to say it, then go," Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue smiled at him and went over to Xian Qiuhe's side. "Are you sure?" Xian Qiuhe's reaction was bigger than Xian Qiuhe's. "This Northern Du clan is causing trouble again. That Dong Lai clan seems to be losing," Sima Yue said. "How did you know?" Xian Qiuhe was curious. Their abilities were above hers, but they did not sense it. How did she know? Sima Yue was silent for a while, then said, "When we entered the forest, I released some scarlet bees when you were not paying attention." The fact that she had scarlet bees was no longer a secret. It was okay to tell them. And Xian Qiuhe already knew. "Young master, I'll bring people to save them first," Xian Qiuhe said. "Be careful." Xian Qiuhe nodded, "We will rush over." "Okay." Xian Qiuhe brought people and left. They ran in the direction that Sima Yue said. Only 30 guards were left to protect Xian Qiuhe. Sima Yue saw that they left so quickly and was slightly surprised. "Aren't you afraid that I'm tricking them so that I can deal with you?" she said to Xian Qiuhe. "We are friends. We trust each other," Xian Qiuhe said. Sima Yue smiled. Yes, they were friends. He believed that she would not harm him. "Let's go over too." He pushed the wheelchair and left. His speed was not much slower than Xian Qiuhe and the rest. So when they rushed over, the battle was not over. But because of Xian Qiu clan's interference, both sides were in a stalemate. Sima Yue saw the two geniuses, Dong Lai Li and Northern Du Hao. One was elegant and refined, the other was frivolous and arrogant. Northern Du clan was indeed more powerful than these two clans because the battle did not stop because of Xian Qiu clan's interference. Northern Du Hao looked at Xian Qiuhe, who was slowly approaching, and his eyes were filled with contempt. "Xian Qiuhe, you're blind and lame. Why did you come here to join in the fun? Swords have no eyes here. It's not worth it to lose your life." As expected, he was not a good person. Sima Yue decided on Northern Du Hao's character in her heart. "Northern Du Hao, shut your stinky mouth," Dong Lai Li shouted. Xian Qiuhe was not angry. He crossed his hands and said, "No one knows what the ancient mining area is like. Northern Du Hao, are you sure you want to lose your strength here?" "I'm just playing with you." Northern Du Hao did not care about these two clans. "I wonder if you still have the strength and mood to play with other people after playing with us and entering the mining area." Xian Qiuhe smiled faintly. Northern Du Hao looked at him and his eyes flashed. He paused for a while and laughed coldly. "Let's wait and see. Let's go." After speaking, he brought his people and left. Xian Qiu clan and Dong Lai clan heaved a sigh of relief. If they really fought, even if they didn't die, they would lose a layer of skin. Dong Lai Li came to Xian Qiuhe's side and squatted down. She grabbed his hand. Thank you." "What's there to thank me for? If it were you, you would have come too." Xian Qiuhe smiled and pulled his hand back without a trace. Chapter 1495. It was unknown if Eastern Lily had noticed it, but she stood up and smiled. No matter what, you saved us. No, to be exact, she saved you guys. Xian Qiu, he pointed at Sima Yue. Eastern Lai Li looked at them in confusion. It was Yu who told us that you were attacked here. Otherwise we might still be resting at the same spot. Xian Qiu, he said. Eastern Lai Li looked at Sima Yue with suspicion and a tinge of disdain, but she concealed it well. Thank you. She smiled at Yue, but the smile did not reach her eyes. Sima Yue was such a sensitive person. How could she not notice it? However, she was a high and mighty young lady after all, and he was an insignificant person. It was rare for him to put on an act on the surface. Miss Donglai, you're too polite. Sima Yue didn't call her Miss Li. Her Li and her sister Shimin Li had the same pronunciation, but Sima Yue was not as cute as her sister. Miss Yue, how did you know that we were in danger here? Eastern Lai Li asked. Be told me. Sima Yue waved her hand and a few scarlet bees flew down from the branches and landed on her hands and shoulders. Scarlet bee? Eastern Lai Li immediately recognized the scarlet bee's identity. She was indeed an experienced and knowledgeable young mistress. Miss Donglai knows them too. Sima Yue caressed the one in her hand. Then she raised her hand slightly and they flew away. Yes, our family also has 2 boxes. However, I'm not as good as you. You can even scout for information. Eastern Lai Li had a higher opinion of Sima Yue. Generally, the production of scarlet bees, queen bees, was low, and the survival rate of scarlet bees was not very high either. Therefore, even if their family had a queen bee, there would not be many of them. Usually, it was used to brew scarlet honey for the clansmen to use. Her scarlet bees could actually gather information, and their relationship was also very good. This was something that could not be seen in the clan. However, there were only a few of them, so they weren't that useful. It should be purely a coincidence that he was able to save them this time. Miss Li, how did you guys start fighting? Xian Qiu, he asked. No matter how arrogant Northern Du Hao is, he wouldn't lose his strength before he reached the mining area. I started fighting with him. Eastern Lai Li said. What? Nothing. Said she didn't want to be honest with him. It's because Northern Du Hao kept bad-mouthing young master he. Young mistress was so angry that she took action. Eastern Lai Li's maid Shui said. Shui? Eastern Lai Li shouted, interrupting her words. Yue, I was too impulsive as Yue's Oda Yue. What favor? It's just a small matter. Xian Qiu, he said. Alright, you guys must be tired just now. Take a rest and we'll continue our journey. Yue and Yue when they were resting, Sima Yue pulled Wu Lingyu to walk around and observe the surroundings. Huahua wasn't interested in these people, but it was interested in these Huahua plants. Oh, when she saw these Huahua plants, she wanted to eat them. Oh, what was going on? In the past, she was a glutton for sex. Sima Yue watched her walk around and look around. Whenever she saw something she liked, she would pick a few leaves or twigs and put them in her mouth to chew. She noticed that every time she got close to those plants, they would inadvertently tremble a little. It seemed that everyone was afraid of Huahua. Huahua didn't like to eat these in the past, but why do they have an appetite for these plants here? The plants here are different from those outside. Wu Lingyu said. What's the difference? Almost no one comes here and it's less affected by the outside world. That's why they deteriorate slower and many of them have an ancient aura. Wu Lingyu explained. Also, their levels are very high, eating them is good for increasing her strength. That meant that the previous ones were too weak, and Huahua didn't like them? If that's the case, whether or not we can get the ores will have gained something. Sima Yue said. You've always had a good attitude. Wu Lingyu looked at her. This was something he didn't have in the past. That's because I already have a lot. Sima Yue said. I've never been greedy. In this competitive world, you don't know if this is good or not. Wu Lingyu tucked her hair behind her ear. Who knows? Yu, look at this. Huahua jumped over, holding an unknown branch in her hand. What's wrong with this? Sima Yue looked at the branch. It was very ordinary. This isn't from our time. Huahua said. I smell a very scary aura from it. A very scary aura? Sima Yue turned around and looked at Wu Lingyu. There's the aura of a spirit beast. Wu Lingyu took it and sniffed it. When did you have the same nose as Shen Qiuhe? Sima Yue laughed. I'm much stronger than him. Wu Lingyu said. Narcissistic guy. Sima Yue ignored him and took the branch and looked at it carefully. What spirit beast's aura is this? Why is it attached to this branch? I've never smelled the aura of those ancient creatures. How would I know what spirit beast's aura is? Wu Lingyu said. You're saying that this is the aura of an ancient creature? Sima Yue and Huahua both cried out. It should be. Wu Lingyu said. Its aura is even older than your little gold's aura, it should be around 10%. So you're saying that an ancient spirit beast was sealed here, and it even came out of the ore? Sima Yue's expression was serious. If this assumption was true, then the situation here was even more dangerous. Could this branch be that spirit beast? It doesn't look like it, Huahua said. It should have absorbed the aura of a spirit beast, maybe blood, maybe feces or something. Wu Lingyu said. No matter what, this is good for her. Really? Then can we dig up the entire branch? Huahua's eyes lit up. Let's go take a look, Sima Yue said. If it was really useful to Huahua, then there was no reason not to. Huahua led them forward for a while, until they arrived at a more spacious area. There was not a single blade of grass or tree in the surrounding 100 meters, only a tree that was tens of meters tall in the center. In this dense forest, this tree was considered very short, but it had a dense canopy. That independent appearance reminded Sima Yue of the first time she saw Qing Yi. Chapter 1496. Sima Yue observed the tree and felt that its aura was a little strange. It probably had the aura of an ancient spiritual beast. Should I say that this tree has degenerated or evolved? Wu Lingyu muttered to himself as he looked at the tree. It's hard to say. Sima Yue also understood that although it had degenerated, it had an ancient aura compared to other similar species. However, even if it is said to have improved and gained the ancient era's aura, it might not necessarily be able to grow better. I don't care if it evolved or degenerated. It's unlucky to have met me. Huahua rubbed her palms together. How unlucky. Wu Lingyu said, however, even though it's afraid of you and can let you break its branches, it will still fight back if you try to pull its roots. Huahua retracted the step she was about to take. Hee big brother Lingyu, you're so powerful. You should go. She smiled flatteringly. Go. We might have to leave soon, Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu walked over. The tree sensed danger and immediately began to resist. However, after Wu Lingyu took out a ball of black flame, it shrank back. It was Sima Yue's first time seeing Wu Lingyu's flame. Although it wasn't as flashy as little birdies, it was still terrifying. Wu Lingyu quickly uprooted the tree and carried it with one hand on his shoulder. Huahua was so excited that she wanted to jump up, but her enthusiasm was extinguished by Wu Lingyu. This is different from what you ate before. With your current strength you can't eat too much. You can only eat one stick a day. Wu Lingyu handed the tree to Sima Yue instead of giving it to her directly. You can only eat one a day. Huahua went down, but then she thought better of it. It was better than nothing. Sima Yue kept the tree and threw the branch to Huahua. Let's go back. In the resting area, Eastern Lai Li and Xian Qiuhe were chatting. Seeing that it was about time, she said, everyone has rested enough. Let's set off. Rest for a while more, Xian Qiuhe said. If we don't leave now, the sky will turn dark. Eastern Lai Li didn't know why he wasn't anxious at all. It's not a bad idea to spend the night here when it gets dark. After staying here for so long, I'm more familiar with it. It should be very safe to spend the night here. Xian Qiuhe smiled. Is that so? Eastern Lai Li looked at him doubtfully. This was not his usual style. She looked around and realized that Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were not around. Were they waiting for them? Sure, take me there next time. No problem. Then it's settled. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were chatting and laughing as they walked over. Huahua followed behind them, holding a tree branch and chewing on it. It seemed that the tree branch was not easy to chew. Xian Qiuhe heard their voices and turned towards that direction with Eastern Lai Li. Yue, you're back. Sima Yue saw that everyone had stood up. She smiled and said, are you preparing to leave? Sorry, we ran into some matters over there and came back late. It's okay. You came back just in time. Xian Qiuhe said, I was just about to inform you. Since you're back, let's set off. Eastern Lai Li kept away the unhappiness in her heart. Sima Yue and the rest set off again. Eastern Lai Li and Xian Qiuhe walked in front while Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked behind. It was obvious that the two of them had a good relationship. Miss Yue, what did you do just now? Eastern Lai Li turned around and asked. We just walked around nearby, Sima Yue said. After thinking about it, she decided to tell them about her discovery. There's something that I think I should tell you. What is it? When we went out for a walk just now, we found the aura of an ancient spirit beast. Sima Yue said, So, we guess that there should be an ancient spirit beast sealed in this ancient mining area and it has already escaped. What? Everyone else cried out. Even the smile on Shen Qiuhe's face disappeared. Yue, are you sure? Sima Yue turned around and stretched out her hand. Huahua, let me borrow it for a while. Huahua handed the branch in her hand to Sima Yue. Sima Yue took it and placed it in Shen Qiuhe's hand. Take a look at this. Shen Qiuhe took the branch and sniffed it. It does have an ancient aura. Let me see. Eastern Lai Li took the branch and studied it carefully. That's right. This should be the aura of an ancient spirit beast. Why is the aura of this spirit beast on this branch? It should have left something beside this tree by chance after it came out. Shen Qiuhe guessed. His thoughts were the same as Wu Lingyu's. No wonder you guys stayed for so long before coming back. Eastern Lai Li did not care about the fact that they wasted everyone's time. This discovery was extremely important and they were even excited. If there was this, there might be others. If they could find even one, it would be very useful to the clan. Of course, this could also be a very serious problem. If there were many spirit beasts, then this trip would be quite dangerous. But that was an ancient spirit beast. Just thinking about it was enough to make people excited. Wu Lingyu looked at her burning gaze and the others' excited expressions. Then she thought about Sima Yue's temporary surprise and worry when she found out. This was the difference between her and these people. Since we know this, then we have to be more careful in the future. Shen Qiuhe did not let this news go to his head and reminded them. Yes, young master. Shen Qiu clan members replied. That's right, the road ahead is still very dangerous. Let's not let down our guard. Eastern Lai Li also regained her calmness, but her gaze was much more fervent than before. They continued to walk forward. In the forest they did not encounter any attacks. A few days later they walked out of the forest and entered a grassland. The environment here is really strange. It's clearly in the desert, but it could form a forest around the oasis. But here it became a grassland. Someone voiced out their doubts. That forest was not formed by rain. It's an underground river. Shen Qiuhe said, the underground river is only in that area, so the forest is only outside. There's an underground river under the desert? How is that possible? You haven't even gone underground to take a look. How can you be sure? Eastern Lai Li said, everywhere in the 32 continents is strange. There's nothing impossible about this. That's true. Shen Qiuhe replied. In the 32 continents, what was impossible? Wah wah, wah wah. Suddenly a sound like a baby crying was heard. Then a group of people escaped from the grassland towards their direction. Those people saw Yue and the others and immediately ran towards them. Chapter 1497. When those people saw the people here, their hearts that were about to give up all hope were immediately filled with hope. They quickened their pace and ran over. If these people were strong, then they would be saved. If the other party wasn't strong, they would be able to resist for a while and win a chance to escape. As they ran over, the spiritual beasts also ran over. Each of them was 7 to 8 meters long and had a pair of wings, but they could not fly like the birds. His body was covered with leopard prints like a cheetah, and he had long horns on his head. As they chased, they howled from behind. The sound pierced through their eardrums and pierced their hearts. What kind of spirit beasts are those? Sima Yue felt a sense of fear when she heard the voice. That voice was clearly similar to a baby's cries, but while a baby's voice made people feel tenderness, this voice made people feel fear. These are Chongdiao. Wu Lingyu whispered as he looked at the group of spirit beasts that looked like birds but were not birds, leopards but were not leopards. Chongdiao? It was Sima Yue's first time hearing about this kind of spirit beast. Seeing that everyone's faces were serious, she asked, are these guys hard to deal with? It's a little tricky, but it's okay. Compared to the others, Wu Lingyu was not worried at all. Those people were getting closer and closer, the Chongjiao behind them was also getting bigger and bigger. Sima Yue could feel their aura even more clearly. The Xianxiu clan and the Donglai clan did not intend to run away. It seemed that although they were cautious, they were still confident that they could deal with those fellows. Lingyu look. Sima Yu saw a familiar figure in the group of people running over. It's Wei Shueshu. I didn't think that the Yang family would actually run ahead of us. Don't underestimate the power of those great clans. Wu Lingyu said, it's not hard to find the way here. If that's the case, our speed is indeed a little slow. Sima Yue sighed. Since the Yang family had come, the other forces might have come as well. We chose to take a roundabout and safe route. Otherwise, do you really think we would have walked for so long? Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. They had been gone for more than half a year. Although the route that Xian Qiuhe and the others set was a little detoured, they did not encounter any danger along the way. This was a good way to preserve his power. To come here, what was truly needed was strength, not seniority. Otherwise, even if he had the life to go in, he wouldn't be able to come out alive. Don't leave me. Seeing the Chongqiao approaching, Wu Lingyu subconsciously warned. Sima Yu grabbed his clothes and smiled. This should be fine, right? Wu Lingyu saw her rare mischievous look and also smiled. He reached out a hand to hold her hand and said, "This is enough." As those people ran closer, the Xianqiu clan and the East Lai clan joined the battle. Sima Yue was by Wu Lingyu's side and had no chance to attack. Looking at this battle that was beyond her ability, she was filled with emotions. She had to improve her strength. Once she was done with her parents' matter, she would have to go into seclusion. Otherwise, she wouldn't even have the right to speak in this inner area where experts were as common as clouds. If anyone knew what she was thinking, they would definitely beat her up. She had just advanced in the Sima family and now she wanted to advance again. She didn't even look at how young she was and she already had such achievements. Now she was still thinking that her strength was not high. She really deserved a beating. The battle did not last long. To be able to come here, the two big hidden clans' strength was not just for show. Sima Yue looked at the corpses on the ground and said, "The blood of the Chongqiao smells quite good. Huahua, bring 2 corpses over and we'll make some meat soup to drink." Alright. Huahua never rejected food. Although the Chongqiao is stronger, their meat doesn't have much spiritual energy. East Lily said. "It's okay. I'm not doing this to eat their spiritual energy." Sima Yue replied. "If you don't want them, you can give them to me. Is that okay? If you want them, you can take them." East Lily was not interested in these corpses. "Thank you," Sima Yue said gratefully, then looked at Xian Qiuhe and the rest. "We don't need them either." Xian Qiuhe took the initiative to give them to her. "I'll make some soup and treat you to it later." Sima Yue said to Xian Qiuhe, then instructed Huahua, "Leave a few for me, the rest are for you." "Really?" Huahua was excited. It created more flowers and swallowed all the Chongqiao. Disdain flashed across the eyes of many people in East Lai clan. Only those lowly people would contract such low-level spirit beasts. "Thank you for your help." Yang Wei brought Yang Gaoming and the rest to bow to everyone. Yang Wei, your method of diverting trouble is not bad. Did Northern Du Hao teach you that?" East Lai Li did not have a good impression of the Yang clan. She knew that they were close to the Northern Du clan and said, "Miss, you've misunderstood. We didn't mean to target you. It's just that when we saw people, we would subconsciously ask for help." Yang Wei said, "I don't care if you did or not. Now that the crisis has been resolved, you can leave." East Lai Li was not polite with her words. It seemed that she did not have a good impression of the Yang clan. Wei Shuezhu, who was standing at the back, saw Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu in the crowd and exclaimed, "It's you! Mistress Yang, what a coincidence." Sima Yue replied. "Mistress, this is?" Yang Gaoming asked. Wei Shuezhu's expression became a little uncomfortable, saying, "She's Sima Yue." "What?" Yang Gaoming and the rest looked at her with a different gaze. They turned their heads and did not mention this matter. It was not that they did not mention it, but now was not the time to pursue this matter. When this matter was over, if she was still alive. If there's a chance in the future, I will definitely repay you for saving my life. We'll take our leave first. Yang Wei finished speaking and left with the Yang clan. Shui snorted at their backs, saying, "If you really want to repay us, why don't you ask who we are? We know him, but he doesn't know us." Sima Yue gave her a look of approval. Not bad, she could tell at one glance. She looked at the Yang clan's backs with a deep gaze. "What are you thinking about?" Wu Lingyu asked. "I'm thinking about what uncle he said." Sima Yue said, "If the Yang clan is really involved with that, they should have brought it along this time. But there isn't anyone wearing a black cloak in their group. If there is, we'll meet them eventually." Wu Lingyu said, "Moreover, if there really is such a thing, they wouldn't dare to let anyone see it. Anyway, I'll get my bees to follow them and take a look." Sima Yue had a thought, and the bees that had been following not far away flapped their wings and left. Chapter 1498. Book title, Chapter Shocking Discovery of a Corpse. In the later part of the journey, Sima Yue and the rest would occasionally encounter some spirit beasts. The spirit beasts here were much more powerful than those outside. Even they would sometimes be chased all over the grassland by the spirit beasts. It seemed like Xianqiu clan's research on the desert only extended beyond this oasis. Other than the spirit beasts, more and more people had arrived. It seemed that after the first force had thought of a way, the others had followed suit. However, there were many people who came, but there were also many who died. Mutilated corpses were often seen on the road. We've been walking on the grassland for 2 months, and we still haven't found a mining area. Huahua sighed as he chewed on a twig. After eating so many twigs in the past 2 months, the Huahua's aura changed day by day. It was very different from 2 months ago. It should be soon. Sima Yue looked at the mountain range in front of her. Most mining areas were in the mountains, so they should be arriving soon. However, it seemed so close and he didn't know how long it would take to reach it. Ah! A sharp shriek came from the front. Sima Yue sensed that something was wrong. There's an aura of death. After saying that, she quickly ran in that direction. The others hurriedly followed. Sima Yue ran past a few hills and saw a group of people in black cloaks. A few of them were carrying a corpse. Seeing Sima Yue and the rest, the group of men in black turned around and flew away. Eastern Lai Li and the others frowned as they watched the men in black disappear from their sight. These people feel so strange. Of course it's strange, Sima Yue said and ran over to check the corpse on the ground. As expected, Eastern Lai Li and the others ran over. When they saw the corpses, an uncomfortable feeling arose in their hearts. You just said, of course it's strange. What do you mean? Shui came behind Sima Yue. When she saw her rummaging through the corpses, her eyes flashed with intense disgust. Exactly what I said. Sima Yue could feel her disdain and did not have a good impression of her. Everyone in the Donglai family was dissatisfied with her reaction. How dare a puny girl from another clan whose status and strength were so low, talk to them like that? Yu, is there anything on these corpses? Xianqiu, he asked, causing the people from the Eastern Lai clan to hold back their questions. Sima Yue thought about this corpse. If Xianqiu he smelled it, it would be too indecent. Hence, she stood up and condensed water attributes spiritual power to wash her hands. Then she used little birdie to dry it. All of this happened in less than 10 seconds. Those people in black cloaks are all corpses. They use death aura and these corpses are also stained with it. That's why you feel uncomfortable looking at them. She explained to Xianqiu he. Undead? How was that possible? Don't talk nonsense. Shui shouted. Sima Yue glanced at her and said, if you don't believe me, you can go and see for yourself. I think you should be able to recognize the death aura, right? Shui was at a loss for words. Asking her to search through those corpses? She didn't want that. Sima Yue's lips curled into a sarcastic smile. Go and take a look. Shui ordered one of the maidservants. That maidservant was unwilling, but she didn't dare to disobey. She held back her disgust and bent over to search through the corpses. If you don't have the confidence to get rid of the death aura on your body, it's best not to touch these corpses. Sima Yue's voice sounded faintly, scaring that person so much that she quickly retracted her hand. You believe her words? Shui shouted when she saw that her person was frightened by Sima Yue. Sister Shui, quickly go and check. Don't you want young miss to know the truth? Shui questioned. That's not what I meant. She wanted to ask what Sima Yue meant, but Shui was obviously unhappy that she did that. She was originally timid, and now she didn't dare to refute, but she didn't want to touch that corpse. The corpse gave her a very dangerous feeling. Let me do it. An older maidservant beside her said and bent over to check those corpses. She glared at Sima Yue unhappily. Nothing happened at all. She dared to scare the people of Eastern Lai clan. Very good, very good. That woman suddenly cried out in pain, and her body retreated backwards, revealing her red and swollen hand. It hurts. That woman used her other hand to hold her wrist, not allowing the pain to spread upwards. What's wrong with you? The maidservants of Eastern Lai clan surrounded her, and when they saw her hand, they retreated in fear. In just a few breaths, her finger was so red and swollen that it was shining. Someone accidentally poked it, and thick liquid actually flowed out, emitting a stench. What's going on? Eastern Lai Li walked over and asked. The people she brought out were all elites among the maidservants. Seeing that she was being tortured, she panicked. Quickly used the fire attribute to resist. Xianqiu, he said. Fortunately, that maidservant was a fire attribute spirit master. When she heard Xian Qiuhe's words, she quickly condensed her spiritual energy and isolated her entire forearm. From then on, the red and swollen phenomenon did not continue to spread upwards. What's going on? Shu Er looked at that horrible hand and suddenly turned to Sima Yue saying, "Is this your doing? You poisoned the corpses and purposely tricked us, right?" Sima Yue sneered, saying, "Miss Shui, even if you want to accuse someone you should choose a good time. She and I checked 2 different corpses, how could I poison you? Moreover, I've already reminded you but you didn't listen. Now you're blaming me, this is unreasonable." Everyone then noticed that Sima Yue checked the corpses near her, and that maidservant checked the corpses near Sima Yue that were tens of meters away from her. In their opinion, it was impossible to poison someone in front of so many people and hide it from them. "Miss Yue, what's going on? Why are you fine after touching the corpses, but my maidservant is injured?" Although Eastern Lai Li's words were not as direct as Shue'er's, there was a hint of questioning in it. "Li, this has nothing to do with Yue." Xian Qiuhe did not like her questioning Sima Yue, so he spoke out to defend her. "I didn't say that Yue did it. I was just asking her what's going on." Eastern Lai Li was unhappy that he defended Sima Yue, and her face darkened even more. "Actually, this is nothing." Sima Yue said, "I said that these people have the aura of death on them and it's a corrosive aura of death. Your maidservant's body is not as good as mine, so of course she couldn't resist it. Her fingers were corroded by the aura of death." Chapter 1499. It was easy to say that she was corroded by the aura of death, but looking at the servant girl, it was obvious that this was a serious matter. "You're just a girl who just entered the monarch level, yet you say that our people can't compare to you. You really know how to boast." Shui didn't believe her. "Tell me what exactly is going on?" "I've already said what I wanted to say, it's up to you whether to believe me or not." Sima Yue didn't have a good impression of Shui. "If you think that I'm lying, then investigate in another direction. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me if she suffers a little more." "You." Eastern Lai Li bit her lips. Those who were familiar with her knew that she would act like this every time she endured something. "Yue, do you have a way to save her? She's in too much pain." "So fake." Sima Yue pursed her lips. "Yue, do you have a way?" Shen Xiuji asked. She could make herself unscathed when inspecting the corpse and point out that there was an aura of death in the corpse. She might know a way to deal with the aura of death. "There is a way, but the price is a little high." Sima Yue said, "However, I think that with Miss Eastern Lai's feelings towards her servant girl, you wouldn't mind paying such a small price." "What do you need?" "I have a pill that can resist the aura of death, but this pill is very rare, not to mention that the herbs are precious, it's also very difficult and, just tell me how much do you want?" Eastern Lai Li interrupted her. 500,000 for 1 pill. Looking at her, she should want 2 pills. "Since we're so close, I'll give you a 30% discount, 700,000 will do." Sima Yue said with a smile. "What? Why is it so expensive?" Eastern Lai Li didn't speak, but Shui shouted first. 350,000 for 1 pill, this price was enough to buy a 10th grade pill outside. Moreover, who wouldn't give face to the hidden clan outside? Even if they didn't give medicine, at least they wouldn't charge such an expensive price. This woman was doing it on purpose. "This medicine is indeed expensive." Sima Yue nodded in agreement. "That's why I didn't mention it earlier. Whether it's expensive or not depends on the situation," Wu Lingyu interjected, which was rare of him. "If it's in exchange for a life, it's not expensive. But if money is more important than life, then it is indeed a little expensive." His words seemed fair, but it blocked Eastern Lai Li's escape route. If she was unwilling to fork out the money, wouldn't she be telling the Dong Lai family that their lives were worthless? Once they thought so, not to mention the maids and guards of the clan, even the clansmen would feel bitterly disappointed. Eastern Lai Li glanced at Wu Lingyu. She had neglected him in the past. "Shui, give me the money." A smile appeared on her face, but her gaze became even colder. Mississippi Shu'er frowned. "It's just some crystals. How can it compare to the lives of my Eastern Lai family members?" Eastern Lai Li said, "Miss Yue, I'll have to trouble you. Is eating medicinal pills enough?" "Of course not." Sima Yue said, "It's just that we're together. As for my appearance fee, I've already saved you. If it's someone else, I won't do anything without 300,000 to 500,000. She looked as if she was already letting them off lightly, which made Shu and the others extremely angry. Then what do you want to do? Well, you won't understand even if I tell you. Sima Yue said, medical matters still have to be kept a secret. Originally, everyone was a little uncomfortable when they heard the first sentence, but the last sentence also expressed her intention. It wasn't just her. Those professional masters didn't like others to get to the bottom of things. Shu glared at the maid on the ground. Using such a huge sum of money to save a maid really made one's heart ache. Although Eastern Li didn't care about this bit of money, it was nothing to a hidden clan. But it wasn't worth it to use this money to buy a maid's life. However, he was here, so she had to maintain her beautiful image. Sima Yue received the money and was in a good mood. She took out a medicinal pill and gave it to the maid to eat. What's your name? Sima Yue smiled and asked her. Enlei. The maid ate the medicinal pill and the pain in her hand lessened. Seeing Sima Yue's smile, her flustered heart calmed down. Enlei, what a good name. Sima Yue said, it'll hurt a little later, you have to bear with it. But you have to believe me. I'll return you a pair of hands that are as good as new. Enlei looked at Sima Yue and saw her smiling and confident eyes. She nodded subconsciously, I believe you. Believe a young lady who was only a few decades old? If it was in the past, this kind of thing would definitely not happen to her. However, her eyes seemed to have some kind of magic that made him believe her so much. Sima Yue kept her smile and looked at Enlei's hand with a serious expression. Although she used the fire attribute to isolate the death aura, the corrosion was still very serious. The flesh on the fingers was completely corroded and the bones inside could be seen. Moreover, the water was giving off a disgusting smell. Those who wanted to see how Sima Yue would save Enlei stayed far away. Sima Yue looked up at those people and said to Eastern Li, Miss Eastern Li, I'll bring her far away for treatment. The smell will get worse later. Eastern Li was already disgusted by the disgusting smell. Hearing Sima Yue's words, she quickly nodded and said, then I'll have to trouble Miss Yue. Which one of you will help her over? Sima Yue asked. Those maids turned their heads to the side, even the maid Enlei helped at the beginning did the same. It seems like no one is willing to help you. Sima Yue sighed, forget it, I'll help her till the end. Sima Yue helped her stand up and brought her to the Colonel Wu Lingyu followed behind with her hands behind her back. Sit down. Sima Yue helped her to a rock and sat down saying, let me get rid of the death aura for you first. After saying that, she called out little birdie and carefully burned the death aura bit by bit. Enlei could feel the scorching temperature of the little bird when it came out. When she saw it covering her hand, she was worried that it would burn her hand. She didn't expect that when it really touched her hand, she didn't feel anything. Instead, because the death aura decreased, her fingers didn't hurt as much. However, towards the end she felt more pain from her fingers than before. She immediately bit her lips and didn't cry out in pain. Bear with it. Let little birdie burn the rotten flesh together with it. It's better than me cutting it with a knife. Sima Yue saw that she was drenched in sweat and explained the source of the pain. Chapter 1500. After little birdie had burned all the rotten flesh, Enlei's entire palm was left with only white bones. Sima Yue took out an ointment and applied it on Enlei's hand saying, this is also free. This is an elixir that can bring the dead back to life. Thank you. Enlei said. After applying the ointment, Sima Yue took out a bandage and carefully wrapped it around Enlei's white bone finger. Why do I feel that they don't care about you that much? She tied a beautiful bow on the back of her hand. They are still very good. Enlei wanted to say something but stopped. Why do they hate you so much? Sima Yue asked. I've noticed along the way that they dislike you. Only the servant girl that you helped has a better relationship with you. Why is that? Enlei's lips curled into a bitter smile. Some people are born to be disliked. When a woman ostracizes another woman, there is usually only one reason, jealousy. Sima Yue said, it's either jealousy of beauty or jealousy of talent. I think, with your looks, it's impossible for you to be jealous of beauty. Is that the second reason? Enlei shook her head saying, there's another reason. What reason? Sima Yue sat opposite her, propping up her chin with both hands and looking at her curiously. A different kind. Oh. Sima Yue was even more curious, looking up and down for a while saying, I can't see anything different about you. Enlei smiled bitterly and did not say anything else. Since they hate you so much, why don't you leave the Donglai family? With the Donglai family's personality, they will not tolerate a traitor. If you want to leave, there is only one way, death. And Lei looked into the distance, somewhat absent-minded. She wanted to leave so badly, but she did not want to die. She wanted to live well. This was what she promised her mother before she died. Sima Yue looked at her gaze, somewhat moved. If I ask you to leave the Donglai family with me, would you be willing? She asked. What? And Lei couldn't react for a moment when she heard her words. I said, if I go to your lady and ask for you, are you willing to leave the Donglai family and follow me? Sima Yue asked. What? You don't have a good impression of the Donglai family. And Lei looked at her warily. Indeed, I don't have a good impression of her. That young lady of yours is too arrogant and self-indulgent. She also has an inexplicable hostility towards me. As for me, although I came from a small place, there's no need for me to suck up to her. Sima Yue didn't mind ridiculing Eastern Lai Li in front of Lei. Then why did you? Well, one is that you're more pleasing to the eye. At least you didn't roll your eyes at me. Also, it's because of my own reasons. I can't tell you. Sima Yue said. With a maid from the secret clan by his side, she might know more about the secret clan. And Lei looked at her in surprise. She was really straightforward. You have a few minutes to consider. Sima Yue said, if you don't agree when we go back, I'll take it that I didn't say anything. Young lady won't agree. And Lei said, you don't have to worry about that. Sima Yue said, but I have a condition. If you follow me, I want your absolute loyalty. I want you to swear an oath. After saying that, she ignored Lei's shocked gaze and stood up, saying, think about it. She didn't know Lei for long and didn't want to keep a ticking time bomb by her side. An oath was the best restraint. And Lei lowered her head and her thoughts were in turmoil. To agree or not to agree. Sima Yue didn't disturb her and talked to Wu Lingyu about other things. When Wu Lingyu heard that she wanted to take Lei in, he wasn't surprised. Or rather, he wouldn't be surprised no matter what she did because he would support her no matter what she did. In the distance, the Xianqiu and Donglai families stopped. The corpses on the ground were still the same. No one dared to touch them. After a while, Sima Yue took out the second pill and gave it to Lei, saying, eat it. You'll be fine after eating some healing medicine. Lei took the pill and ate it, saying, thank you. So what do you think? Sima Yue asked. Seeing that she was still hesitating, she said, there's only one chance. Whether or not you can change your fate depends on whether you dare to take the risk. Lei heard this and was instantly enlightened. If there was only one chance to change her fate, she definitely wouldn't let it go. If she really didn't have a good ending, would it be worse than now? Even if she died, her mother wouldn't be her. I'll follow you. She looked at Sima Yue, but if I want to do anything, you have to give me freedom. I didn't tie you to me in the first place. Sima Yue stood up. Let's go back. When we go back, you don't have to say anything, just leave it to me. Lei followed behind them, feeling uneasy. If she couldn't convince young Miss, her fate in the Eastern Lai family might be even worse. While Eastern Lai Li and Shen Qiu were talking, the others surrounded the corpses and pointed at them, but didn't dare to touch them. They're back. Everyone's gaze landed on Lei's hand, which was wrapped in bandages. They didn't know what happened to that hand, but they couldn't feel the aura of death on it. Young Mississippi, Lei bowed to Eastern Lai Li and retreated to the side. Yue, it's been hard on you. Shen Qiu, he looked in her direction and smiled. Although I'm a little tired, it's still okay. Sima Yue said, young Miss Eastern Lai, I've already treated this person for you. You can settle the bill now. Really treated? Shui didn't believe it. If you don't believe me, you can take off her bandages and check it yourself. Sima Yue didn't care. Most people wouldn't check it, but Shui didn't hesitate to take off Lei's bandages. Looking at the hand that was left with only bones, she screamed in fright and hurriedly took 2 steps back. That hand was exposed in front of everyone just like that. How did it end up like this? Eastern Lai Li turned her head in disgust, not wanting to take another look. The aura of death has corroded her flesh. It's already not bad that her bones are preserved. Sima Yue said, you don't have to worry. It's not like this hand can't be saved. As long as you're willing to spend money and get more good pills to grow flesh and bones, it can be healed. I estimate that you'll only need to spend another 3 to 500,000. Another 3 to 500,000? Adding that 700,000, that would be 1 million. A servant girl was worth 1 million top-grade crystals? The answer was definitely no. Due to some reasons, she couldn't dispose of Lei, but she also didn't want to see a skeleton hand waving in front of her. She was such a perfect person, how could there be such a person by her side? Chapter 1501. By the time Little Sparrow had burned off all the rotten flesh, and Lei's entire palm was only left with white bones, Sima Yue took out some ointment and applied it for her, saying, "This is also a free gift. This is an elixir that can bring the dead back to life." "Thank you," Lei said. After the ointment was applied, Sima Yue took out a bandage and carefully wrapped her bony fingers. "Why do I feel that they don't care about you that much?" She tied a beautiful bow on the back of her hand. "They are still very nice." Lei wanted to say something but stopped. "Why do they hate you so much?" Sima Yue asked. "I noticed along the way that they are very against you. Only the maidservant that you helped has a slightly better relationship with you. Why is that?" Lei's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Some people are born to be despised by others. There is usually only one reason for a woman to exclude another woman, and that is jealousy." Sima Yue said, "It's either beauty or talent. I think with your looks, it's impossible for you to be jealous of beauty. Then is that the second reason?" Lei shook her head and said, "There's another reason." "What reason?" Sima Yue sat opposite her, holding her chin with both hands and looking at her curiously. "Otherworldlings." "Oh." Sima Yue became even more curious. She looked up and down for a while and said, "I don't see any difference." Lei smiled bitterly and did not say anything else. "Since they all hate you so much, why don't you leave the Donglai family? With the personality of the Donglai family, they won't tolerate traitors. There's only one way to leave, and that's to die." Lei looked into the distance, a little lost. She wanted to leave, but she didn't want to die. She wanted to live well. This was what she promised her mother before she died. Sima Yue looked at her and was a little moved. "If I ask you to leave the Donglai family with me, would you be willing?" she asked. "What?" Lei heard her words and could not react for a moment. "I said, if I go to your lady and ask for you, would you be willing to leave the Donglai family and follow me?" Sima Yue asked. "What? You don't like the Donglai family?" Lei looked at her warily. "Indeed, I don't like your lady. She's too arrogant and self-willed, and she's inexplicably hostile to me. As for me, although I come from a small place, I don't need to suck up to her." Sima Yue did not mind complaining about Donglai Li in front of Lei at all. "Then why do you?" "Well, one reason is that I like you more. At least you haven't rolled your eyes at me. As for the other reason, it's because of me." "I can't tell you," Sima Yue said. With a servant girl from the hidden clan by his side, she might be able to know more about the hidden clan. Lei looked at her with some surprise. She was really straightforward with her words. "You have a few minutes to think about it." Sima Yue said, "If you don't agree when you go back, then I'll pretend I didn't say anything." "Miss won't agree," Lei said. "You don't need to worry about that," Sima Yue said. "However, I have a condition. If you follow me, I want your absolute loyalty. I want you to swear an oath." After saying that, she did not look at Lei's shocked eyes, stood up and said, "Think about it." She and Lei had not known each other for a long time, and she did not want to keep a ticking time bomb by her side. An oath was the best restraint. Lei lowered her head, and her mind was in turmoil. Did she agree or disagree? Sima Yue did not disturb her, and talked to Wu Lingyu about other things. When Wu Lingyu heard that she wanted to take Lei, he was not surprised. Or rather, he would not be surprised no matter what she did, because no matter what she did, he would support her. In the distance, the Xuanqiu and Donglai clans stopped. The corpses on the ground were still the same, and no one dared to touch them. After a while, Sima Yue took out a second elixir and gave it to Lei, saying, "Eat this. You'll be fine after taking some medicine to heal your wounds." Lei took the elixir and swallowed it, saying, "Thank you." "Have you thought about it?" Sima Yue asked. Seeing that she was still a little hesitant, she said, "You only have one chance. Whether or not you can change your fate depends on whether you dare to take the risk." Hearing this, Lei was instantly enlightened. If there was only one chance to change her fate, she would definitely not let it go. If there was really no good ending in the end, would it be worse than it was now? Even if she were to die, her mother wouldn't be her, right? "I'll follow you." She looked at Sima Yue, "But if I want to do something, you have to give me freedom. I never tied you to me anyway." Sima Yue stood up. "Let's go back. You don't have to say anything when we go back, just leave it to me." Lei followed behind them, feeling uneasy. If she could not convince the miss, her future in the Donglai clan might be even worse. Donglai Li and Xuanqiu he were talking, while the others surrounded the corpses and pointed at them, but did not dare to touch them. "They're back." Everyone's eyes fell on Lei's hand, which was wrapped in bandages. They did not know what the hand looked like, but they could not feel the aura of death on it. Mississippi, and Lei bowed to Dong Lai Li and retreated to the side. Yue, you've worked hard. Xuanqiu, he looked in her direction and smiled. Although I'm a little tired, I'm okay, Sima Yue said. Sima Yue said, Miss Dong Lai, I've already treated this person for you. Can we settle the bill now? You've really treated her? Shu'er did not believe it. If you don't believe me, you can take off her bandages and check for yourself. Sima Yue did not care. Most people would not check if she said that, but Shu'er did not hesitate to take off Enlei's bandages. Ah! Seeing the palm that was only left with white bones, she screamed in fear and quickly took 2 steps back. That palm was exposed in front of everyone just like that. How did it become like this? Dong Lai Li turned her head away in disgust, not wanting to take another look. The aura of death has corroded her flesh. It's already very good that her bones are still intact. Sima Yue said, you don't have to worry. This hand is not incurable. As long as you are willing to spend money and get some good elixirs that can regenerate flesh and bones, it can be recovered. I estimate that it will only cost another 300,000 to 500,000. Another 300,000 to 500,000? Together with the 700,000, it would be 1 million. Was a maid worth 1 million top-grade crystals? The answer was definitely no. Because of some reasons she could not deal with Enlei, but she did not want to see a skeletal hand dangling in front of her. She was such a perfect person, how could she have such a person by her side? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.